is the Big O Show. This 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 is the Big O Show. This
So here we are. I wanted to show you the backyard again because we had some trouble last time, but you know, CuttersEdgePro.com does some amazing stuff, and there are the boys and the girl. They're having fun. There we go. Right, Maiden? Right, Bono? There we go. They're having fun. I'm having fun. Look at our Sylvester palm. It is beautiful. We got another one in the front yard like that. You can take your home and landscaping to the next level. And the artificial turf, look at that. Look at that, the two dinosaurs going at it, huh? Look at that, I gotta love the dinosaurs. Look at them, they like to bite each other's legs. That's what they do, they play with each other and then they bite each other and they piss each other off. It's fun. One is Bono, which is the one farther away from you, and Maiden, she's the girl right here. She's a badass, that's for sure. So anyway, see the flowers are coming out. Very nice. CuttersEdgePro.com, folks. This big tree there will start budding that I'm showing you there soon. It'll have all kinds of flowers. I'll post another video and I'll show it to you. This is a backyard where everybody gets to hang out. Over there in the corner there, I put the barbecue and cook. So that way it's the farthest away from the house, you know. If I light myself on fire or somebody else, we're out in the corner away from everybody. There you go, so you getting some flowers coming out, which is a beautiful thing. And I swear by this artificial turf, it always looks phenomenal. I don't have to cut it. I don't have to water it. And so I'm saving a lot of money, hundreds and thousands in the long run, because I'm not watering or, of course, cutting the grass. And you know, here in South Florida, we cut the grass like every 10 to 14 days.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zins Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zins Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646. When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. you can rely on essential moving experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Miles an hour, that's a Category 4 hurricane. 3 deaths are reported in Florida after more than 24 were killed in the Caribbean. This
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
Your home for everything Heat.
They stand eye to eye with history, and they did not blink. The Heat are going to the NBA Finals.
Panthers.
The Florida Panthers are headed to the Stanley Cup Finals.
The Big O Radio Show goes deep on playoff coverage.
We don't care what the rest of the world is saying. We don't care who's criticizing who. You got to line up between these 4 lines, and let's figure this out.
The Big O Radio Show. The viewpoints, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty, welcome aboard on a beautiful Friday, recovering from last night's defeat at the hands of the Denver Nuggets, 104-93. As Denver takes a 1-0 lead, we recharge and get ready for the Panthers tomorrow. That's what we do. That's how we roll here, right? We got no choice. And then we'll deal with game 2 on Sunday with the Miami Heat, and we'll see if they can play a lot better. It's going to be a rough one, but it's not going to be an easy series for the Miami Heat. Last night they had a chance too. That's the crazy part of it all. Manny Navarro will join us at 11 a.m. At noon, we'll have Cameron Wolf with us. We'll take your questions, your comments, all kinds of stuff, so you can send them in on the chat board. Remember, you can always make a super chat and a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show on Cash App or Venmo. Remember, if your business wants to be a part of our platform and you want to promote your business and brand and get new customers locally, nationally, even internationally, because the audience is what it is, which is really cool. We're blessed. You can reach out to us on our business line at 786-754-4664. There you go. So we will bring Cam the Joker hater on at noon. So we'll get his thoughts on it. Tomorrow we'll have the Panthers at 8 o'clock. Remember, we will be on after the Panthers game. So win or lose, Panthers or Heat, we're going to be here for you post-game show. So we'll give you a nice objective post-game show. Not the Homer stuff, but hey, people love the Homer stuff. So to each his own, as they say. Last night, I mean, it was just one of those where they didn't do what they had to do in order to win. They didn't hit their shots. People like Strus and Duncan failed, and so did Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler wasn't himself last night. There's no way that you can end up with 13 points on 14 shots. That's as, inefficient as it gets for Jimmy Butler. He had no free throws. The team had 2 overall. I think it was Highsmith that went 2 of 2 from the free throw line. This team didn't attack the basket, and I don't care what Bam and Highsmith, right? We're together in the press conference, and they asked him about the referees, and he's not trying to get you in trouble and all that, and Bam was like having fun with it, and well if are you gonna pay a portion of it or whatever, but there's nothing to complain. There's nothing to point at. The Heat didn't attack, and Jimmy didn't attack. And like I said last night, if the head of the snake is not attacking, how do you expect the rest of the pack to attack? And I don't know what's going on with Jimmy. I don't know what the injury is, because it can't be that he's tired. He had several days to rest. He could be tired overall. Hell, I'm tired. Yeah, I'm tired. I'm 57 years old. I've worked my ass off all my life. Yeah, hell yeah, I'm tired. I'm tired every day of my life already at this point. So I get being tired, but you got rest. You should have been able to play to your normal self at least in game 1. That wasn't Jimmy Butler yesterday. That wasn't Jimmy Butler at all yesterday. You're not winning this series with Jimmy Butler scoring 13 points a game. You're not winning this series if Jimmy Butler has no free throws. You're not winning if Jimmy Butler is not attacking the Denver Nuggets offensively, defensively, everything. I didn't see playoff Jimmy yesterday. I didn't see attack mode Jimmy. I didn't see him with his hair on fire. Strus will never miss that many shots again. No freaking way. Okay? I'm with Spo on that. When he was talking about his guys and, the confidence and all that stuff. I have no problem with that. Duncan also did not show up. Certain guys didn't do their jobs. I get it. Bam showed up. Gabe showed up. Lowry showed up, but only 3 of your role players showing up is not enough. Not against the Denver Nuggets. And as I said yesterday, the difference between the Denver Nuggets and the other teams you've played, you can F around with, falling behind 10, 12, 15, and you can storm back on these teams. You can do that with the Knicks because they're nothing. You could do that with the Celtics because they're flaky. You could do it with the Bucks because Giannis was just discombobulated after the injury. He just wasn't really the same dude, and that team wasn't in a groove. So you were able to get away with it. Denver's way better than all these teams. You can't screw around and fall behind and try to think that you're going to catch up easily on these guys. And then in the second half, they made a little bit of a run, and they made it somewhat interesting. Why? They hit their shots. And still, they didn't have real Jimmy. Yesterday, Jimmy Butler scored 5 points in the first minute of the game. 5 of his 13. So if I tell you that Jimmy Butler is going to score 40% of his offense in the first minute of the game, how's that good? That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, so I don't know and nobody in the press conference yesterday asked Jimmy Butler straight up, are you injured, Jimmy? Even though he probably will say no, but at least you got it on record. And then when we hear about the operation if we hear about the operation after the finals, I don't know how it is in the CBA if they're supposed to report or they can, in the offseason, they can, they don't have to say anything because there's no games going on. I have no idea. Because, Jimmy Butler's a tough son of a bitch. So he could be injured and he could tell everybody, shut up, don't say anything. We're not making, like our boy from the Celtics, what's his name? Jason Tatum. He's all whining like a little bitch about his ankle and all that stuff. And Jimmy's not an excuse guy. Spo's not an excuse guy. The Heat are not excuse people. So they'll suck it up. And that's great. I can admire all of that. But, dude, that wasn't you yesterday. And I can't imagine that Jimmy said, I'll pace myself in the NBA Finals. These are the final 7 games of your year. You're done now for months. You got to leave it all on the court right now. Did Jimmy Butler do that last night? No. Why? It's not because of a heart. It's not because he's lazy. It's not because he's not committed. It has to be because he's injured. And not one person asked him, Jimmy, are you injured? You had no free throws. You shot 14 times to get 13 points. It's game 1. This team desperately needs you. You're the leader of the team. 13 points? Are you injured? No one asked him that. Which is amazing to me. I get that I'm not going to name names or anything. I get there's 1 or 2 of those reporters that probably have a relationship with Jimmy. They're not going to ask him because they want to keep getting information so they can't put the person in a bad position. This is the part that sucks about building relationships with people and friendships, because now you need them for information. So now you can't put them in a tough spot or criticize or be objective or anything like that. And that's horseshit. No one asked Jimmy Butler yesterday if he's injured. Whether you get an answer or not, but get something out of it. So that way we kind of know in the offseason if he has surgery. See, he was bullshitting. He was just, but I can't believe no one asked him that. Did any of you think he was injured? Just wondering. Bunch of you up there on the, and don't forget, please, to smash the hell out of the like button. Did any of you think he was injured last night? Were you wondering about that? Did you wonder that by halftime, by the end of the game, when you looked at how pedestrian his stats were, how mediocre his stats were, how his game wasn't really that aggressive? Because that to me was one of the things that just absolutely stood out, man. That was tough yesterday because they had a chance. They definitely had a chance yesterday. If they make their shots and they get real Jimmy buckets, real playoff Jimmy, I think they would have had a shot. I really do. 2 a time, first in, too extreme, tough loss. But the bright side is yesterday's game was if most of the clean shots went in, that game's outcome would have been different. We missed a ton of open shots. We will be better next game. They better be. But, God, how do you miss those shots, dude? And Jimmy. Jay Gelfin is in. Good morning, Orlando, Sean, and chat crew. Tough one last night. If the Heat shot better in the beginning, and what if we had Tyler Heroes? I don't know. You know what I mean? My problem, Jay, is with all of that. we can't use Tyler Hero for shit because there just aren't enough examples that he's reliable. He's streaky. And so I can't say that he would have saved your team yesterday or anything like that. I don't know. I don't have enough proof. He's never around when the season really matters. You know, we're still living off the bubble from 4 years ago with him. So I refuse to give Tyler Hero that kind of credit when he hasn't earned it, actually. You know, so I can't lean on that one, Jay. Alexis is in. Brian Walters is in. Says, good morning, Big O Sean, everyone. I hope you have a great day. Smash the like button. I see Inter, let their coach go. You know, let me get this off my chest. I got to work at Inter Miami, and the Moss family is terrific. They're good people. They mean well. They want to win. But here's where I got to separate church and state. And let me just call things like I see them, because nobody else in town is going to end up really saying what's going on. The Moss family needs to finally straighten their shit out at Inter Miami. Okay, let's just say what needs to go on. The dysfunction in that place, we saw it firsthand when Sean and I were there. Okay, I know they want to win. I know they want to do everything, but the dysfunction there is at catastrophic levels. That's why you're headed for your third coach in 4 years. You already got your second general manager. You cannot draft, develop your own players. Any fucking idiot can trade for Messi or any other star that takes no skill. None whatsoever. It takes no skill to go and get a star and bring them here. But your stars will come and go. Moss and Beckham. Henderson. Your star will come and go. You still got to draft and develop your own players for a foundation. Other teams do it in town. Inter Miami does not. They don't have anybody right now. Leo Campana is not a guy you build on because he's unreliable physically, and I just saw him on the pitch piss away a game on Wednesday night. So you fire Neville when he had a chance to win the game 2-1. He chokes on the PK and he chokes on the possession in the box. Look, I'm not here to defend Phil Neville and say he's this great coach or anything like that, but he's not the problem. Your shit roster is a problem. You trade Lassiter and Dukes, depth on your bench a month and a half ago because you want to clear up more cap space. You, because of cheating, part of your dysfunction, you're cheaters in the first year where you had 5 DPs, you were fined a certain amount of money, and you've had salary limitations all the way through this season. They get lifted next year. Your Martinez move was a disaster. Gregory, your best defender, has been out all year. The dude got injured in the first game of the season or the second game, whatever the hell it was, and he's gone, and it kills the middle of your defense. Campana is useless. He's got talent, but he breaks down physically. And what, is he not going to be able to finish now either? They don't have a 10 to create. They don't have 9s that stay healthy or can finish or are reliable. And then you have all your eggs in the messy basket. Inter Miami is a complete disaster, bro. It's such a dysfunctional place. There's no way you're going to win if you can't make good decisions so you can stay the course. But if you're going to get pissed every couple of months and fire your coach and then change your general manager every couple of years because Chris Henderson's on his way out in another year or two. That roster ain't shit. Yesterday, I go to Panizo. What's the big deal, bro? This isn't going to change anything. Oh, well, they shouldn't be in last place. So what do you expect? You're expecting some magician to come in and make you the last team in the playoffs or just outside, a couple of spots off the last spot? Because this roster sucks. Who the hell's going to win with this roster? Obviously, he had no answer for me, and I'll bring him on and challenge him, Michelle, and whoever to tell me what the hell's going on with this roster, because this roster blows. So firing Neville is nothing more than window dressing, dude. The Moss family has the money. We all know that. They have the power to make things happen in town. We know that. We know that they're great business people in their own right. But when you go into a new business, you have to learn, and you're going to make all kinds of mistakes. Well, 4 years in, they're not learning a goddamn thing. The only thing they're learning is how to keep your franchise unstable. That's it. That's the only thing Inter Miami is, unstable. No coach is going to save this team. And getting Messi takes no skills. That only takes writing an effing check. Oh, and one more thing. David Beckham, brother, stay looking pretty on the sidelines and keep your mouth shut. You are freaking Michael Jordan of the MLS. Okay? It was your doing that brought Matuidi here for one of the DP spots. And let me tell you something. While I was working at Onside and working with Inter, I had to keep my mouth quiet. Off the air, we would rip them all the time. Like, what kind of dumbasses get Matuidi, a defensive midfielder, as a DP? Like, you got to be a first-class dumbass organization to add a defensive player who's old as your DP. You get offensive players. You get people that can put the ball in the goal. A terrific midfielder or a forward. You don't get a defender as your DP. We were all laughing about that behind the scenes at Inter Miami. And we're like, what the hell are these people doing? So you want to bring old-ass Higuain over here, and you want to do all of this, and the Messi deal now sounds like a disaster. So you agree with Barcelona, but then they borrow him for 18 more months. Come on, man. I mean, seriously, show me that you can build your own franchise, that you can draft players, that you can develop them. You've had 4 years. 4 freaking years, dude. And there's nothing. So fire Phil Neville all you want. Fire any coach you want. Change the GM all you want. And put all your eggs in Messi. You're only going to have Messi for a year or two. That guy ain't going to come here for 10. So, yeah, you'll have excitement for a year or two. And then what? The same shit that we've seen for the last 4 years? So you're a shit franchise unless you can go out and get one of the all-time superstars in the history of soccer. Wow, that really shows a lot of skill on how to run a really good organization. Meanwhile, we got the Heat getting people off the street and making them into good NBA players. Fucking joke, dude. Absolute fucking joke. Wake the hell up over there and Fort Lauderdale, dude. Get your heads out of the asses that you clearly are in. And I care because I've been a big proponent, big supporter of local soccer here, and I wanted to survive. I wanted to thrive. I wanted to have a lot of success. We had it going with Hamilton and Hudson before that idiot owner turned it in and the MLS, backstabbed us. And the last thing I want to see is this MLS team come to town and it's just dog shit leadership because you don't know what the hell you're doing. You can't hire a coach, and you got David Beckham, who's a fucking moron. Neville didn't work out, and Matuidi didn't work out. And I don't know what other bad decisions he was part of, but clearly David Beckham has no business being a part of football operations. Stay on the sidelines, go add another tattoo, be a pretty boy, but you are no executive, dude. None. Okay? Anyway, Beckham, you lost me with that bullshit PR crap you did over there in the World Cup with Kraptar. In fact, your ass sold out to those people. That's disgraceful, dude. Absolutely disgraceful. And you're terrible at ad-libbing. So keep doing all that other bullshit. Stay away from the soccer team, dude. Just stay away. Get lost. Anyway. I paid for Apple TV MLS package to continue watching my beloved Inter Miami. Was a season ticket holder before I moved, and man, I wasted my dinero. Yeah. And I'm with you, Giovanni. I bought it too. Now, I was already an Apple subscriber, so, we got that $20 discount, right, from $99 to $79 or whatever. But, damn, dude, this is what I have to watch. George Metellus, what's up, my brother? Add to that, there's no guarantee that Messi will make Inter Miami an MLS Cup contender unless he has quality players around him. Boom, boom, boom. Shake the room. Tick, tick, tick. Boom. That's it. He's right. It's just, again, I'm not here to defend Neville, but he's not really the problem. The people above have been the problem so far. They're the ones that make all the bad decisions. And it's got to be said because nobody else is going to say it in town. Nobody's going to rip into them like they deserve to get ripped into. Like they should actually have a press conference and apologize to everybody, apologize to the supporters. They should apologize to Vice City and Southern Legion and who's the other one that I'm forgetting now? And I apologize for brain farting at the moment. Heron, right? The what's it called? What's it? Vice, Southern. Oh God, the other one I'm forgetting now. But all three of those incredible supporters group, you should bring them all to a building somewhere there and apologize to them for your shit ass leadership and stupid ass decisions and embarrassing football club that you're coming up with every year. That's what you should do. Big O, your heart is still with the Strikers. My heart is with the Strikers, with Miami FC, with him or she, with Boca, with Inter Miami, you name it, dude. My heart is with all local soccer, and I want local soccer to excel. But this bullshit, I'm not allowing this to fly. Okay? Because nobody else is going to say it. I might as well say it. Yes, sir.
The Siege.
The Siege. Thank you. I apologize, Siege. You guys are all over the place. You should apologize to them. So, yeah. Pisses me off. Yeah, a lot of really good players will get cut soon. The loaded teams will have to cash to snag up a couple of them. Or you guys are talking about Dolphins. Jay Hurt says, but interseason tickets, now the return on investment is going to be wild if they sign them. They're not getting them anymore. They're going to put him on loan to a little piece of him for a little bit. But it's what George says. If you're not going, you're showing me you can't develop a team. You're already showing me you're not good at drafting and developing. Okay? You've already shown me that for 4 years. And it started off the first year when you passed up the kid that went to Orlando. Okay? That's it. Robbie Robinson was like, holy shit. That was like that was like one of the biggest swings and misses for this franchise right from the get-go. Oh, and they had 2 shots at him, if I'm correct. Right? Because didn't they have 2 picks in the top 5 and then he went number 5, I think it was, right? I mean, dude. And then they had 5 DPs. Like, they thought that they were fooling the league or they were too stupid to figure out that they had 5 DPs. I don't know which one it was, but it doesn't get any better than that. And then you make this Martinez move, and it's been an utter disaster. The guy is a shell of what he was. Yeah, for a couple of weeks, he had a couple of goals, and then the Campana guys, he had his moment a couple of years ago, but since then it's been injuries up and down and nothing. And there's just calendars about the best thing that they have found. You know that? Calendar. The guy that was hanging out with like the entire opposing team in the box the other night. Yeah, that guy, Calendar. So, David Beckham thinks soy milk is Spanish for I am milk. If you pull up the video of David Beckham at Crap Tar, and it's a promotional video of him hanging around with people from Crap Tar and how he likes, the phoniness and the lack of, I don't know, creative language. Okay, there was no color whatsoever. I mean, you couldn't be more lamer than that dude. It was such a phony promo. You got to see it. And it just shows me like that dude will sell himself out even to that just for money. Big O Neville had 3 seasons. Actually, this is not a complete season. And so you're wrong on that, but that's all right. And the team sucks, Frankie. Nobody's winning with this shit. Okay? It's not his fault that they brought Martinez. It's not his fault that they traded his depth away in Lassiter and Dukes. All right. It's not his fault that Gregory's been out all year. It's not his fault that Campana is completely unreliable. So if you want to tell me that that's Neville's fault, then you're right. So I don't know. I'm not here to defend Neville, but I'm not defending the franchise. And if anybody thinks, Frankie, if you think Neville's the problem, then you couldn't be more wrong and more off. Okay? Because he's not the problem. The problem are all the people above him making all the decisions. All right? They're the ones putting all their eggs in the messy basket. All right? They are the ones setting themselves up all for that. No one else. It's the coach that has to put up with it. He has no choice. Morgan, Duke, Lassiter, Carranza, Reyes all improved after they left. They reminded me of the Dolphin players that would be better if Duke and Lassiter wasn't bad here. Morgan wasn't bad here. It's just you changed the style of play, and that's what changed Morgan. That's all. You changed the offense. Because once you had Pozuelo, once you had Higuain and all that. 2 years later, you had a completely different offense. That happens, man. You can't do anything about that. If you change the type of the offense, instead of you wanted to run it through the middle instead of off the side, which is what you were doing with Morgan, was he was setting you up from the outside. That's not what the offense was anymore. That happens in every sport. And you change things. And Duke and Lassiter played well here, man. Team's a disaster. Their front office and ownership group are the reasons why they're mediocre. Doesn't matter. You can keep changing all the coaches you want. Oh, if they're going to spend all this money on Messi on a loan, they might as well not get him and maybe get a striker like Karim Benzema. But I agree. Got to get young talent and develop, but they don't develop anything. So if Neville is a problem, Spo is the Heat's problem. Lacking roster. Yeah, but that roster is bad, dude. Big O, if you look at this team, they start hot, then they lose a couple of games in a row, and then they win a couple of games. Yeah, that's called mediocre, my brother. That's not coaching. Where does their talent say that they should be elite? What are we talking about here? What are you talking about, Frankie? Maybe win a game or two and become the 7th team maybe in the playoffs, or the 8th team or 9th team just outside? Is that what we're talking about? Is that like the peak of all peaks? So after 4 years, that's all you can build? A team that can barely be outside of the playoffs or barely be inside the playoffs? Because that's all they've ever been, no matter what coach it is. Are you telling me, Frankie, that this is a team that should be in the top 5 of the conference? Yay or nay? What's the idea here? Isn't it to win the MLS Cup? You think their team has any chance to challenge for a cup with any coach? The best coach in the world. You think it's going to get this team to a challenge? Come on, man. Come on. It was cool when we had the Fort Lauderdale Yankees and the Strikers. Cool times. The minor league team? Yeah, that was fun. It was fun when we had the Orioles down south and then the Yankees in Fort Lauderdale. That was actually cool. I remember that. That was fun. Discipline, Big O, and coaching matters. The players quit on him. Look at what you posted during that game they lost. Oh, I know that the defense, but that's, it's a bad team. So we'll see. I guess the next coach will do so much better. Nothing's changed for 4 years. Doesn't matter who the coach is. Doesn't matter who the GM is. So you guys can keep making excuses. I can do the math for you very simple. I've been at this for a long time, Frankie. You changing coaches, you changing players, the results are the same. It only falls in one place, my man. Up top. You know what's happening to you, Frankie? Some of you out there, like some of our writers probably, like some of our supporters and all that kind of shit. Okay? You can go get Skip Schumacher and you can go get this manager and that manager and that manager. If the people on top of the Marlins don't change their ways, it doesn't matter what happens underneath. Not at all. So if your ownership group, your leadership group doesn't know what they're doing, you'll keep changing managers and you'll keep changing coaches and all that kind of stuff and front office people, and nothing changes. I've seen this story over and over again with all kinds of ownership groups. And the ownership groups that are bad, there's a reason why they're bad. And right now, the Moss brothers are not getting it done. We have to be honest. We have to call it like we see it. 4 years in, and they've built nothing. They can't find coaches. They can't fix the front office. They can't draft. They can't develop. They can't trade. So it doesn't matter who comes in next. If the people above are constantly changing their minds every 6 months, every year, every 18 months, it ain't going to get you anywhere, man. All I've seen from that team for 4 years is dysfunction. It starts and ends at the top for Inter Miami. Make no mistake about it. And this year is a perfect example of all of that. You think they can overcome a Campana who should have won the game for them. Even with that defense on there, Campana should have won the game. By the way, you're so quick to pick on Neville. Didn't the offense set up Campana? Didn't Neville's offense set up Campana in the box twice and the penalty? I won't give him the third one as a goal, but the second one after the PK should have been a goal. He hesitated to pull the trigger, and that's it. The defense caved in on him. So why is it Neville's fault that Campana chokes? Or is it the front office's fault that they've kept Campana and he keeps choking and he keeps breaking down? Where's that Neville's fault? You guys, you get fooled by the shiny objects. And that's what you're doing right now. You're getting fooled by the shiny object. Just another example why I appreciate and praise Bill Zito so much, I mean, all you've watched since Viola and Sifu have gotten together for 7, 8, 9 years, whatever this is now, is they've gotten better and better and better and better. They keep their good players. They've made a couple of changes at coaches. They made a couple of changes at GM. And now, they only made one change at GM because they inherited Dale Talon. And they inherited a legend that was running out of gas. It's not their fault. They had to finally make it. And Zito's been amazing. They went and found Bill Zito. Great ownership. And they've made the playoffs now 4 straight years. And now they're going deeper into the playoffs, which is also more progress. That's what you want to see. We don't see any progress. No progress from Inter Miami for 4 years. They're the same team they were in their expansion year. Dysfunctional, mediocre, and not really much to build on. But hey, you guys go ahead. Use the Neville thing like it's going to be the savior of the franchise. Coaching matters, Big O. Look at how the Heat organization has made bad decisions recently, but Spo makes the team better than what they are. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. But there's something there that they found in the front office, right? They did find Caleb Martin, so he can work with that, right? Now, the bad contract they gave Duncan, but he still works with that. But you still have Jimmy Butler that they paid for, Bam that they drafted, Tyler that they drafted. So those are guys that are helping you out overall. They've made good decisions also. All of the decisions are bad decisions for Inter Miami, pretty much. Calendar, Gregory, what else? There aren't a lot of great decisions. Campana has not turned out to be a great decision. Not bringing back Pozuelo, is that going to help you out? You know what I mean? Pozuelo was the most important player on the team last year. So you didn't bring back the real MVP because it wasn't Higuain. If you really watched the team, it was Pozuelo. So what kind of a move is that from the front office? So at least with the Heat, their bad decisions are some of the things that they've tied their players to, but they have some skill sets to them. Inter Miami has very few people that bring anything to the table. You got to score goals. Who's scoring goals? 4 years, nothing's changed. That's all you need to know. Faces change. You're going on your third coach in 4 years. Doesn't get more dysfunctional than that. My God, they made Matuidi a DP. Yeah, Connor still has this year left. He's not going to get a contract this year. There's no contract for Connor this year. As I've told you before, I think he's under contract, so he's not under any. There's no rush for Connor, so doesn't really matter. Big O, do you think McDaniel is going to be around a while, or will they get rid of him? I like you, so I'm gonna skip that. They will really be something if Eichenberg pans out at center. No, that's just that's just switching people around. Whatever you're reading out there or whatever, this is experiments. See how Eichenberg does at center, because if you have enough guards moving around, but you got to find out who also can play center. So just in case, God forbid, you're down to your third center and it might be Eichenberg. It might be, I don't know, dude, somebody out there. So they'll try multiple people at center. Remember, the writers are there only on a couple of days, not all the days. So they're only partially seeing some of that stuff. Whereas throughout that entire time, they're experimenting with different people at different spots. That's what you do now. In fact, I read an article where somebody was kind of questioning the moving around, and I think it was Poop that wrote that like last year they didn't move them around. Well, that's because last year they didn't know who's who. So this year, now that they know who's who and where you belong, now they're going to find out, okay, can you do this also? So while they like Eichenberg at guard, they want to see if he can play a little center, God forbid, just in case. So you want to give guys an opportunity to see if they can be flexible. So that gives you as a coach, in a desperate moment, in a pinch, hey, we've worked them out here. So if Eichenberg actually is productive at center for them, if they feel that way, you won't know about it. But throughout the year, they'll have certain moments where they'll put him at center in practice. You won't know about it. I won't know about it. But it happens because there's a lot of closed practices. There's stuff that we have no access to. So for those of you out there, please do not make anything of all of this. This is what goes on at this time of the year. They're experimenting. This year, at this point now, they know more about their guys than they did last year. So now that they know what they are, now they want to expand to find out, hey, can you do this? There's nothing more to look into that. Don't make it a mountain out of a molehill or whatever it's called, a mountain out of a molehill, right? Is that how they say it? Don't go crazy on it. It's no big deal. It's just experimenting. Let's see. As a third string center, I would not like that. If you're down to your third string center, you're in trouble anyway, so it doesn't really matter. You're not really carrying three centers around, so you want to find out if any other guy can do it just to fill in as a pinch. Was just saying, Big O, if Ike excels at center, Connor could solve. Connor's going to stay at center. Connor's not getting a new contract. Stop with all this stuff. I don't know where all this new contract stuff is coming up. The dude's under contract. They're not going to sign him now. They don't have the kind of money, I think, to do all of that. Unless the Wilkins deal just hits a wall and they say, all right, well, let's get the Sealer-Connor thing and let's get Connor a year ahead, because I think Connor's up by the end of next year. So he signed a long-term contract. You don't really need to re-sign him right away. Plus, he's kind of completing his second year at a new position. So you kind of want to see where he's at. And I could see them agreeing to a deal with him towards the end of the season or next offseason. And remember, you can tag, which the tag for a center is nothing. It's not a big deal. The Connor thing, I don't know why it's become a subject. He's under contract. It's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. Okay? I think it's more about Wilkins and Sealer right now than anything else. At least that's what I would be doing. Let's see. Not an excuse, but I just read the box score. How does Denver go to the line 20 times and the Heat only 2? Heat didn't attack. They settled for too many threes. Way too many threes. And Jimmy didn't attack. You know, we got to call it like we see it, dude. Jimmy didn't play yesterday like it was the NBA Finals. I didn't get, Jimmy buckets last night. I don't know about you, but on my television, I didn't see Jimmy buckets on the television. I saw pedestrian Jimmy, which I'm not really used to seeing pedestrian Jimmy. I don't really like seeing pedestrian Jimmy. The Miami Heat have absolutely no shot to win this series if pedestrian Jimmy's showing up every night. So that's what it would be for me. What else do we have? Heat are 2-9 in the last 11 meetings versus the Nuggets. Yeah. And who cares, Cap for life? I get it. I know that they're not good there, and that's why I picked Denver. Big deal. You just want to be a negative guy? Is that it? Is that what it's all about? Pastoria Jimmy. No, if he was in Pastoria. Normally we have Pastoria Jimmy. Okay? All right? Because if you were from Pastoria, you weren't really going to be screwing around. Normally Jimmy plays like he's from Pastoria. If you don't know about that neighborhood and in the outskirts of Little Havana, I can't help you. But that was a neighborhood back in the day. I don't know about now, but back in the day, yeah. Yep. Stephen M., thank you for the Bitcoin. Appreciate it. He says, can't stand your politics, but I love your extra coverage for South Florida, especially on weekends. Thank you. Thank you, Stephen M. And I'm glad you hate my politics because you're a tight-ass conservative that wants to shove your beliefs down everybody's throats. And that's just absolutely pathetic. But, hey, that's all right. I love your gutless approach to my answer because he was like, oh, the world's not going more liberal. Look how the laws have been passed for abortions. And I'm like, hey, moron, your conservative-controlled governments have passed them. It hasn't gone to vote, ever. They don't put it to vote. If they put abortions to vote, Steve M., we would all vote for abortions because 70% of America easily would vote that they would want, reasonable abortions, 13, 14, 15 weeks. It would pass by 70% plus. The conservatives would get crushed. But that's why they do it. But Steve M., that's why you hate my politics, because I tell the truth about your sorry ass. That's why. Okay? Just like the Democrats. Same bullshit. You think they want to put CBDCs up for vote? No. Because they know it's evil and controlling, and we will vote it down 80 or 90%. But they don't do it. And so then they are going to force it through the government without us. But that's all right, dude. Pick your side. Be a blind Democrat. Be a blind Republican. Be a blind conservative. The world is going liberal, you freaking moron. Women in the Far East are taking, in the Middle East are taking off their veils, which is like murder over there. People in China are going against the government. In Russia, they're going against the government. Hell, there are renegades fighting against the government. People want to be a little bit more free, okay? So the world is going way more liberal than conservative. The problem is the conservatives are fighting it and forcing their values down other people's throats when they don't want it. And that's not the American way. The American way is let people choose their right. So, yeah, you don't like my politics because I crush your phony ass. Hey, but thanks for the Bitcoin, fool. I love crushing Democrats, Republicans. I love it, bro. I love it. Trumpies, I love it because you're all entrenched in your little corners and you're so defective, you don't even know it. You have no idea. Like Steve M, who's a complete conservative clown. And it's, when you got nothing and you don't bring it, I'm going to crush your ass. Because your phoniness, I'm going to just expose it. Like Steve M. He had no rebuttal after I told him that it was conservative governments that are passing it, not the people. It's never been put to vote. So it's all right, man. Hate my politics because I hate all politics. So I crush them all because you're all phonies. Democrats, Republicans, Trumpies, you're all phonies. So I will continue to have a field day at your expense, Steve M. Anyway, Jimmy played too hesitant, like if he had Jimmy's injured, bro. He's not nervous. He doesn't have jitters. He's not afraid. That has nothing to do with it. We all know Jimmy's a dog. Okay? This reminds me of X. Okay? Same thing. I know what X is as a player. I can have all my other issues with him that have nothing to do with being a player. So when I watched him last year, I knew that's not him. What I was watching last night, that's not Jimmy Butler. No. That's not Jimmy Butler, bro. No way. No way. Let's see. Latvia's Edgar Rinkovics is European Union's first openly gay president-elect. No, but the world's not going more liberal. No, Rosendo, don't tell the conservative that because they think their world is the only world. It's ridiculous. Big O, what do you buy? A hot dog at a Dairy Queen or a Miami Heat trucker hat? Neither one. This here. I had a chance of, yeah, I know. That's a terrible hat. You really bought that hat. That's a terrible hat. So I had a chance to buy that hat. They have it there at Caneswear. There. I bought a shirt instead. This is a hat that you buy at a gas station for $5. This hat, this is a badass hat. The Panther hat, now that's a real, see? Sean was smart and then not so smart. So that's a real hat. When you go to the Stanley Cup or the NBA Finals, you make something that looks professional and classy. Not something like that crap right there that you buy at Marathon gas station. Okay? Give me a break, dude. That hat is gross. This, my friends, is a real hat. This thing is, look at that, bro. Super sweet. What is it? Did the Heat have any control over this? Did the Heat actually do that? I mean, they do so many things the right way. How could they just screw that one up? Yeah, Sean.
I talked to Jeff at Caneswear, and he said New Era was the only one that really put anything out, and that was what they hat-wise now.
Right. Okay. So New Era was in charge of it.
Well, that's the one that they I don't know how it goes if they can only but that's the only hat that they came out with.
Wow.
I don't know what all the restrictions are as far as there's certain vendors and things like that. So
maybe one day I'll ask somebody from the Heat. Did you guys design that?
I gotta believe that there's something else, but that is the hat they handed Jimmy.
Oh yeah, no, they were wearing that same hat, just like the Panthers were wearing this hat.
Yeah, it was almost AEW-esque.
Yeah, I saw that and it was like, okay, $5 gas station hat. I mean, it's a white hat with the net in the back and then the patch. That's all it is. It's a patch. It's like lame, dude. Lame ass hat. Anyway, that Miami Heat hat reminds me of the disgusting whale logo the Dolphins came up with a decade ago. Of course, suckers are buying it. That whale hat is terrible too. I still have my back-to-back 2013, 2012, and 13 Miami Heat champs hats at one of the coolest hats I've ever owned. Yeah, dude. For sure. Well, now, those are the championship hats. Okay? These are just NBA Finals hats. They haven't won it yet. Well, hopefully they win it. But, if they win it, then those are the ones you buy. There'll be a new one. That one, at least, I hope, will be a lot nicer than this one. Jesus Christ, dude. Armando V calls it an AEW hat. Okay, Sean? Just so you'll know. They're taking shots at the Root Beer League.
Yeah, it's crappy, and Frankie Fresco probably really likes it, but just won't say he does.
They use an accountant to design it. Oh, man. The Nuggets scored 104 points. Miami missed everything, and they lost by 11. My math tells me we're winning game 2. Nuggets defense isn't much, and Bam will score play. They're leaving Bam pretty free. He's got a lot of space. He took advantage of it. That was really good by Bam yesterday. It's really good. He's got to keep doing it, obviously. One game don't mean shit. He doesn't do it enough, but at least, he was one of the role guys that showed up. Him, Lowry, and what's it called? Vincent are the guys that showed up. They at least got it done. Anyway, what else was I going to tell you? Oh, speaking of game 2, is game 2 a must win for the Miami Heat? That's the question. Because the average person would say, well, they hold court, we hold court. Denver's pretty damn good. Are you sure you're going to win games 3 and 4 in Miami? And one of the things that you've done is you've disrupted each of these series by winning a game on the road immediately. And then all of a sudden that puts an enormous burden on the other team because they have now lost the home court advantage, right? That's been the key. And right now, you lost last night. Do you have to win game 2? I say you do. I don't think the Miami Heat are good enough to beat the Denver Nuggets 4 out of the next 5 if you lose game 2. I think it's impossible unless Jokic gets injured or Murray, who's had an injury history and he suffers an injury and he's out for the series. Then, okay, maybe it opens things up for you. But if there are no injuries to those 2 top dogs, I don't think this team has it to win 4 of the last 5 games. I actually think game 2 is a must-win situation for the Miami Heat. I just think that this opponent is way more dangerous than the opponents you faced in the East. They're tough to match. They didn't have an answer for Gordon yesterday underneath. There's no answer for Jokic, and you're not going to really stop Jamal Murray. And then you start adding Bruce Brown and Porter, and, it just gets crazy. So there's a lot of mismatches going on with this team. I don't think you have the luxury of going down 2-0 to Denver. I don't think you have the luxury of saying, well, they held their court. Now we've got to do the same. Bullshit, dude. I'm sorry. I do not believe that whatsoever. So I really feel Miami is in a must-win situation tomorrow to win this series. I think it's guaranteed to lose this series if you lose, not tomorrow, I'm sorry, Sunday. We'll see. We shall see. Let's see. Big O, you should give other people the right to have a different opinion than them. As you know, they can have another opinion. So what? The conservative dude can have another opinion. I don't care. But it's also my right to say it's a stupid freaking opinion. It's also my right to say he's a clown thinking that the world is going to be more conservative when it's not. But that's all right, dude. The blind ass are the blind ass, and they're going to believe whatever they believe, and they're going to stick by it. You can have another opinion, and I'm going to rip your ass for an opinion that I don't like. Period. End of story. That's it. Right? That's kind of the way it goes. Do I have to respect it? No, I don't. When I think it's stupid and ignorant? No, I don't. So I don't respect Democrats trying to shove a CBDC down my throat. I don't respect conservatives trying to shove abortion down my throat. No, I don't. I respect the will of the people. Put that to vote. And if they want CBDCs, then so be it. And if they don't, then we shouldn't get it. Put abortion up for vote. Let the people decide, not the conservatives who happen to be controlling that portion of the government so they can force it all the way in. That's it. So no, I don't respect that. And I don't respect ignorance either. All right? Just like some of the Trumpies that want to defend January 6th. You can have your opinion, and I can freaking rip you and tell you you're an idiot. That's all. Right? That's kind of the way it goes. So you can have your opinion. That doesn't mean I have to accept it. That doesn't have to mean I agree it or respect it. It's the way it goes, man. So do what you want. I know I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to do and think what I believe, may not be right, but what I believe is best for everybody, not for one certain group that wants to force everybody else into something. I'm not doing that. So you can have your opinion. Doesn't mean I don't have to rip you for it.
Blind ass fan alert. Look out, everyone. We've got a blind ass fan coming through.
Why would you call him bipolar Jimmy, Rick? I think the guy's hurt, man. Guy sells out for you all he can. Big O, I am 100% on voting. Unfortunately, voting in this country is no bueno. Well, because when it's not to their favor, they don't want to put it up for vote. They want to circumvent you. Remember what they did for the arena years back? Yes means no, no means yes. Remember that? Come on, man. They will do whatever they can and twist it the way they can. DeSantis changed he redistrict or whatever it's called, reconfigured a district that was mostly black and obviously voting Democrat. And then the way he reconstructed it created more of a Republican district. The Democrats did the same thing. And another one in Arizona. You know, they all do the same shit. Just because they're called Republicans and Democrats, you guys think there's a difference. There's no difference. They're all doing the same shit behind the scenes. They're all screwing you one way or the other. They all have personal interests that they care about more than you. So, you know, but you guys keep going. Keep going. Just keep believing all of that stuff. Anyway, Big O, what do you think of the Biden falling? Brother, get him a walker. And by the way, doesn't the dumbass look like down to see that there's a bag in front of you? Do you not look where you're walking? Like, hey, I'm a goofball. I can't walk 20 steps without falling. Maybe I should actually look where I'm walking. You know? It's like, dude, give me a break. It's like, What a goofball. Total goofball. And it's not, and he's gonna hurt himself seriously on one of those. That old? Wow. It's probably what scares everybody. Anyway, Big O, what's your opinion on leaving Strus 0-8, 0-10? Not sure. Duncan didn't hit. Brother, I'm more concerned about Jimmy. Strus will hit those shots the next time around. Duncan will hit those shots the next time around. That's their thing, dude. They can do that. I was more concerned about Jimmy not being Jimmy. That's really my problem. Is what is up with Jimmy? That's my real concern, man. Hey, send Manny a link because I thought I thought I sent him a link. Send him a link, I guess. I don't know. The one I sent was not good. So we'll get him on. By the way, Welton Rayom, folks, let me do you a favor here, okay? Because we are starting now hurricane season, okay? And I hope we never get hit by a hurricane. I hope we don't get hit by any kind of storm or anything. But if we do, and we just got hit by storms recently, and we had water damage, several of you were able to call Welton Rayom. You've got your cases in, and you're fighting these stinking insurance companies, which, by the way, they're backing out of our state, going left and right. But I want you to save this number on your cell phone, 954-966-4646. Bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. Welton Rayom can help you out. And folks, if you have any of this stuff happen to you before you even make the call to the insurance company, do not. You call Welton Rayom. They have their own adjusters. They will look over everything for you, and they will contact the insurance company on your behalf. Trust me, the insurance company's attention is at an all-time high when their first call from a client comes from the lawyer. When you're calling them, they're behind the scenes laughing at you because they're going to run circles around you, because you and I are not lawyers. You and I are not judges. You and I are not prosecutors. You and I don't work in the field of law. We don't know all the laws, all the loopholes, all the tricks. Welton Rayom's been doing it for well over 20 years, and they know it. They've got beautiful offices in Hollywood. They service anywhere, really. One of our listeners in Orlando came down to hire Welton Rayom, folks. You can too. 954-966-4646. Call Welton Rayom. I hope you don't have to, but if you have any of these issues, please do not deal with the insurance companies. Let Welton Rayom, they will bring them to their knees like they did for us in our case with Progressive Insurance. Welt and Rayom, 954-966-4646. Biden falls way too much. Yeah, bro. It's like we talked about this yesterday. It's like Gerald Ford. You know, this is not, it's not the first time we've had a goofball president that falls a lot. Okay. You know, it's the way it goes. I can't wait for Saturday, game 1. Let's effing go. I'm with you, man. I am with you. Big O, do you think that the Dolphins would include A-Chain as part of a trade with the... All right, let me move on. If Bam plays like Jimmy gets his triple-double over 25 points, Martin over 15... Oh, Martin, you're probably saying Martin over 15 and Hero over 18. We have a good chance at the end. Everyone just has to play well. You can't give the Nuggets anything. Amen. I will go with that. Well, I'm not going to let it go. Mark Stevens, did you watch the head coach on the press conference for A-Chain? Did you watch it? Because if you watch that, then you would know you asked a freaking stupid-ass question. Okay? Mark Stevens? I mean a mother effing dumb-ass question. Anyone hear about this kid at Virginia Tech ran like 990 on the 100-yard dash? Might be the fastest dude ever. No, have no idea. Marlins could have used George Jr. on the mound yesterday. Oh, man. Oh, missed the game last night. How did Bam play? Was he aggressive? Watch the highlights. Watch the game. I'm not here to be your watcher. And if you want to be a smartass, you're now on double secret probation. Just so you'll know, Troy. Okay? Just so you'll know. Double secret probation. Walking that thin line. Thin line. Really thin. That ice is pretty thin for you, buddy. You're about to fall through. Why are we still talking about Dalvin Cook? Please, Dolphins Nation, we need to move on. Until they dump him, it's going to keep being talked about. What else do we have? Nyborg. What is it? Mark Stevens. At Mark Stevens, A-Chain is more like McDaniel's guy. Than Mark Stevens is either really stupid, completely uninformed fan that doesn't follow the team. Because if anybody saw that press conference, like Chris Greer drafted A-Chain because the coach probably told him, I need that guy. I want that guy. I have to have that guy. So, it was like the most obvious thing in the world that the head coach was the guy that wanted A-Chain. He gave it away in that press conference, Sorry, I'll check out the news conference. I hadn't seen it. Yeah, Mark, you're completely uninformed, bro. It just, you don't sound like, you sound like a really novice fan, a guy that's on the fringe, and you're here, which normally I count people that are here hardcore fans. They're usually pretty intelligent and know some of the basics of what's gone on. A-Chain was, my God, the reason he's here is because of McDaniel. That guy was, I think he had a cheerleader's uniform on that day in the press conference. I swear I saw pom-poms. I would like to see another linebacker added to the team, a few good ones out there. Well, we'll see. I think they might, they could add another linebacker or a D lineman after a couple practices that they may not like some of the things that they have or struggle or whatever. They could happen. Oh, Mark Stevens entered the dumbest question ever asked. No. I'm not doing that to Mark. That was a dumb question. It was a really dumb question. But no, we've had worse. We've had a lot worse. Actually. Octane A-Chain, baby. I like that. Getting Higgy with it has signed. One step closer to my jersey, Big O. Kevin says on Twitter. Kevin Higgins is a I don't know if he's listening to I think he listens to the show and it follows on Twitter. And so he posts on Twitter that he says that, Higgy got signed. So he's like one step closer to his jersey because that's his last name too. So that's pretty cool. That's funny when the team drafts a player with your same last name and you can go get his jersey because hell, it's his jersey and your jersey at the same time. I'll never have that luxury because they'll never draft an Alzigari. But, what can I tell you? It is what it is. GP Trap is in. Good morning, Big O. Checking in this morning and hitting the like button. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Did you send Manny a link or what's the deal?
Yeah, I sent you a text. He's running late. He's dropping something off. I guess
Okay.
he didn't receive a link, so he wasn't sure he was
Okay.
on. So he's dropping something off. As soon as he gets back, he'll jump
Okay.
in.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Market is still kind of, although, by the way, the stock market is booming. Dow is up 563 points after, of course, the debt ceiling was agreed upon, like as expected. S&P up 55 points, and the NASDAQ is up a point. So you've got stocks rebounding. I would imagine that we're going to see there's the crypto market is also in the green too. Bitcoin is up, not by much. It's up 0.5% or something right now. It's over 27,000 at this point. So that's cool. Although Illuvium is exploding. Those of you that are Illuvium guys like I am, I like it. I like it. Let's see, what else do we have? There can be multiple A trains. Yeah, but no, that's A train, not A chain. So, it's a whole different ball game. Big O, I'm a rookie, but I heard there were some security concerns with the Trezor wallet. I heard the same thing, but when I looked into it, it was all crap. The ones you got to worry about, I think, is the other one. The was the Nano, the one with the whole sharing of the password thing. But the Trezor, I don't think it's bogus. I don't think it's anything whatsoever that you should be concerned about. So I'm using it. I'm fine with it. I got no problem. Now I will tell you this: it doesn't hurt to have another wallet and have, like, put some in one, put some in another. So you could do that. One of the things I can show you here. I got something here that I can show you a second. That if another one that you may want to look into is a BC Vault. Okay, so that's another one that you may want to look into as a hardware wallet. Okay, I still have the box. I haven't even thrown away the damn box. But anyway, so that would be one that I would use if I'm you. That's, you could have a second wallet to kind of make yourself feel good, and you can then move things around in between wallets. And I also use what's it called, Exodus, and Exodus is also a custodial wallet too, because you get your 12 words. So I have no problems putting my coins there too. So listen, man, don't share your 12 words or 24, whatever it is. Don't ever put it online. Don't save it in an email. Don't save it on a text. Don't put it anywhere on your phone. Keep it written somewhere and protected, like in a bank and safety deposit box, things like that. That's what I do. That way, if there's a fire in my house or whatever, I never lose it. It's all, it's all safe. So yeah, there's just different ways that you can do things and you can protect yourself. But the Trezor thing, I looked into it. It was nothing. The Nano one doesn't look like it's a bad thing as long as you don't use the upgrade. Because my buddies have Nano. If you don't upgrade it, then you don't ever have to worry about it, and don't sign up for it, and you're good. So you'll be fine even with the Nano, I think. Oh, let's go. Manny Navarro is ready with our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your Inter Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or intermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Caneswear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
All right. How you doing, man? You doing good?
Doing good, brother. Just trying to handle a bunch of errands today, man. I'm going on a little mini vacation this weekend before I come back and cover the finals next week.
Okay. All right. By the way, Cadix wallet for Cadena, for any of you out there, because I see J-Town, you got my answer. But for those of you that are invested in Cadena like I am, Cadix wallet is the one that you move your Cadena off of the exchanges and into your Cadix wallet. It's also a custodial wallet. So it's a safe place so you can store your Cadena. So there you go. Anyway, I'm sure you have lots of Cadena in your digital wallet also, right?
Absolutely.
Still no crypto for you, right, in your world yet, right? None, right?
I still haven't jumped in. Oh, I still haven't. I've been waiting to see how things pan out here.
Oh, don't worry. 5 years from now, you'll have a
Regret
little
it.
crypto.
Yeah.
You'll go. Yeah, you'll remember our conversations from the past at that point. All right. What do we got going on, bro? I was talking about this, that the challenge to build a program is not an easy thing. And obviously we've watched Larinaga do it and do a marvelous job of it. We've watched Pat Riley establish it 25 years ago, because I love how people talk about heat culture like it's something that popped up like a week ago or a year ago or 5 years ago, when it's like a quarter century is when that shit started, and it's been going on. And I see the Inter Miami struggles that the Moss brothers, really it's been a dysfunctional place for 4 years now. You're going on your third coach. And so Mario now obviously did not have a smooth start to his run here. What is he doing this offseason to kind of level all of that off? Because the one thing you don't want is you don't want any of the stuff that kind of went on last year to run over into this year. And this is the kind of year, it's kind of dangerous, Manny, because we still have those Canes fans that think that this turnaround is going to be really, really quick. And I kind of tell people, brace yourselves. I don't think this is more than a 7 or 8 win team, if anything. So I'm not expecting that much from him. But what is he doing to make sure that they're headed in the right direction, that there's no dysfunction in the way, and that there is improvement?
Yeah, I mean, I think it all starts with the people you have in your building, right? It all starts with the strength and conditioning coach. It starts with the people who are around the kids on an everyday basis when the coaches can't because of the rules. And I think, he's done a good job investing. The university has done a great job investing in those people. And then it's a matter of weeding out the guys that aren't really into what you're about and recruiting the kind of guys who are into what you're about. So it's a long process. It's a never-ending process. And I think, the one thing that's really difficult for these coaches is when you operate in the transfer portal, you really don't know what you're getting, right? Terry Roberts is sort of a perfect example. He's a kid who they picked up from Iowa that was a graduate transfer, a cornerback. They brought him in this spring. They thought, okay, this is a guy who's played in a good program at Iowa. Iowa's always putting guys in the NFL left and right. And I think he comes down here and he's not the guy that they thought he was. And so he's back in the transfer portal and he's gone. Meanwhile, the high school kids, again, you're doing the best evaluation you can. You're trying to get these kids on campus as many times as possible. You're trying to get them to come to your camps, to do workouts in front of you. You're trying to get somebody out there to keep an eye on them during the season. But you're not always going to hit. You're not always going to really know the character of this kid. And so it's a long process establishing all of that at the same time, right? Having the right people in the building in terms of the adults and the educators and the coaches and the trainers and all that stuff. And then it's figuring out, okay, are these the right kids, right? And identifying that early in the high school ranks and through the transfer portal. It's a tough process, but you go through it and you keep perfecting, you keep molding it until you get it right. And it's only been 18 months that he's been here now. And while some coaches can have a lot of success right away, and I know that's the easy thing for us to point to, right? Everybody points to USC and they say, look at what Lincoln Riley did. Well, Lincoln Riley had some really good players that he inherited to begin with, and then he ends up bringing in Caleb Williams, who's the Heisman Trophy winner. So it's easy to look really good when you've got special players and a strong foundation. I don't know that Mario walked into the same situation here. So everything goes differently. Sometimes it takes longer than others, but I do think the right guy is running the program for Miami.
I do too. I just hope we have patience because it's just a mess he inherited. And I have friends, dude, that think they're going to win 9 or 10 this year. And I'm like, brother, I get it. You're going to want to fire Cristobal at the end of the year, basically, because that's going to happen to those people. Because it happens with fans. They put unrealistic expectations, and then when your team doesn't meet your unrealistic expectations, you think it's their fault they didn't meet your unrealistic expectations. And so I don't know. You tell me, are you getting the same kind of vibe too from people that they're Manny, there's gonna be drastic improvement this year and all that kind of stuff? I think there'll be slight improvement. I don't know if we can go drastic here.
Yeah, I don't think you can either. I think again, he got rid of a bunch of coaches on this staff that he realized once he brought him in here. Like I told you this was one of the first conversations we had when they hired Mario. I said, one thing that he expressed to me is, look, I've been on the West Coast all these years. I've been running an entirely different program. I've been recruiting an entirely different area. You have to even if this is home, if you're operating in another part of the country, to come back here and be around here and understand the high school coaches, understand the local landscape, understanding the kids, how much they've changed, understanding what he inherited, that's a difficult situation to be in. When he was at Oregon, he had a lot of things that were in place. There was all that Nike money that was helping funnel. They were in a weak conference in the Pac-12 with USC being down. He was in an easier situation than the one he inherited here. And now the landscape of college football has changed even more in the sense where the SEC and Big Ten, it's not a Power 5 anymore. It's really a Power 2. And so, you have John Reese who's helping you in the beginning, right, with NIL. He's going through his own issues. You kind of need to build an NIL initiative. Finally, that's getting off the ground and going. Like, it's a changing landscape. And I think for anybody to just think that, well, because he's Mario and he won he won 2 national championships here as a player and coached FIU and did a good job at FIU, he's going to walk in the door and it's going to be instantaneous. You're bleeping crazy. Like, that's not there's been a lot of other guys who've been in charge of this program for 20 years that haven't gotten it done. Mark Richt got it done for 1 year. I think the sample size is the exception.
Yeah, I mean, and by the way, fluke years happen all the time in all kinds of sports, and that's kind of what happened with Mark that year. That was kind of a flukish year when it's all said and done. All right, so we're deep into the off season when I go to the Athletic and we're talking about the Mark Light Shake and how it became legendary, and it is legendary. It is absolutely delicious. So tell us a little bit about that story you wrote and drank, right? I'm sure they gave you when you were writing it.
I'm diabetic now, so I can't be having Mark like shakes every day like some of these SID do that come here on their visits and play-by-play broadcasters who tell me they had 4 to 5 shakes in the 3 days that they were here. I think I would probably keel over and die. But I've had a few in my lifetime in all the years that I've been here in Florida and gone to the stadium, and they're fabulous. And I think the interesting thing for me with that story is that the guy who's created these shakes and has been doing the shakes, been doing it for 38 years. Mark Friedman, his son actually works with CBS Sports as an executive producer. Andy Friedman. He's got another son who's involved with soccer TV rights. So, but he loves to get milkshakes for people, man. He loves, just being at the stadium, being a part of that concession stand. And Ron Frazier brought him in 1986. Ron Frazier, right after they won their second national title, was kind of fed up with the concession stands he had, and decided, okay, I'm gonna get a couple local guys to run this thing for me. And the local guy called up Mitch Friedman rather, and said, Mitch, come in here and do this thing. And he's done it ever since. And he's come up with all these creative shakes. I don't know if you've seen the tweet for this weekend of the brisket shake for Texas, the Tabasco shake for Louisiana, and then the lobster shake for the Maine Black Bears playing here. So just, look, if college baseball to me, I don't think most of us pay attention to it really, unless there's a rivalry series, right? Unless the Canes are playing the Gators or they're playing the Seminoles.
Until the College World Series, bro. That's when we start paying attention.
Until now, until these regionals take place and you're like,
right.
Did Miami win? What's going on? That's when everybody starts to pay attention. So I just wanted to write this story on these shakes because to me, whenever anybody I talk to nationally comes down to South Florida, they say, hey, do I have to go to the stadium to get the Mark Light shake? And I'm like, yes, that's the only place you can get these shakes. They don't sell it at Hard Rock Stadium. They don't sell it at whatever it is, the Watsco Center, whatever the hell it's called now. They don't sell it anywhere else. And I asked Mitch, why aren't you selling this thing elsewhere? And he's, look, man, it's real expensive to run a concession stand, and people don't want to give you a break. It's not financially worth my while. So he's got his reason. If you want more shakes, head over to the regional today, man. There's going to be some good baseball going on.
No doubt about that, man. And what Frazier built years ago, and that guy was always ahead of everybody else, man. He was always forward thinking. And thanks to him, his impact has lasted forever, man. God bless Ron Frazier, man. God bless the.
And look how long it took him to win a national title, right? I mean, he was there, I think, since '69 or something like that. He didn't win the first one till '82. So 13 years when you have and that's one of the guys that's the best to ever do it.
And in today's world, his ass would have been fired 8 times over by year 5.
Exactly. And think about all those Heat fans who wanted Eric Spoelstra done, right? When the Heat struggled after LeBron left. And, right? Jesus. It was his fault. Two trips to the finals with Jimmy Butler and a cast of nobodies.
Yeah. What an amazing. I'm telling you, he's David Copperfield of basketball coaches. He's so good, he fools his front office. He's so good. He made Whiteside, and then they said, well, no, let's sign him a long-term deal because it's going to be something good. And he got 29 games out of Dion Waiters at 29. Those 29 games he's never played like in his life. James Johnson played out of his mind. Eric Spoelstra fools everybody, including the people in the front office, and he makes everything look a lot better than what it really is. And then when you go and try to look for the substance, boy, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors in there. And he does it constantly, bro. Constantly.
It's amazing. He might be the greatest coach of all time in South Florida history. And I love Don Shula and what he did for the Dolphins, but I don't think Don Shula could turn, some of these dudes into this, right? Like how often?
Well, hold on a second. Hold on a second. We got to give him credit because the Woodstock year is kind of one of these years.
That is true. He did have the Woodstock years, correct?
Okay, so the Woodstock year was pretty magical, and not only that year he also had to coach Scabs.
Yep.
And in those 5 games, 5 or 6 games, whatever it was, we were actually one of the better teams in the NFL. we were the least penalized again. It didn't
Right.
matter what you had. His teams were going to be more disciplined than anybody else out there. And I believe we got Lifford Hobley from that group also.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a year where he kind of did what Eric has been doing.
I think
but
though,
I said this a few weeks back. Eric Spoelstra already passed Pat Riley as in what he's done in the Heat. Not overall. We know what overall Riley's one of the greatest. But if you run Riley's Heat tenure and Spo's Heat tenure, Spo's Heat tenure is more impressive.
Agreed. 100%. 100%.
Can't do anything about it, bro. Can't do anything about it. All right, follow him on Twitter at Manny _Navarro, and of course, catch his work there at The Athletic. Better yet, subscribe like I do, and you can get all the great stories, insight, and a little shake too at the same time. Manny, enjoy the shake. Enjoy the weekend, my friend. Appreciate you.
Thank you, brother. Take care, man.
You got it. There you go, Manny Navarro. And by the way, Caneswear, come on, man. We got the Panthers in the finals. You can go get this hat there. You saw the T-shirt I was wearing yesterday for the Miami Heat. I bought the Panthers polo, that blue polo that they have. It is just wow, dude. I can't wait to wear that shirt out. Maybe this weekend I'll wear it somewhere. That hat, you can buy the gas station hat there also. I mean, they got all kinds of stuff. Pucks. Didn't you buy a puck also? They've got pucks. They've got all kinds of things for Stanley Cup. See, there's the Stanley Cup puck. They've got all kinds of stuff, rats, you name it, shirts, all that, man. So if you want to get Heat gear, you want to get Panthers gear, Dolphins gear for the upcoming season, Canes, they've got anything and everything with the Canes logo on it. Go see Brett and Jeff and all the amazing people at 2511 South University Drive in Davie. And if you don't live in town and you're watching from outside somewhere, you can actually go online at caneswear.com. And at caneswear.com, they've got all the same things in the store right there online. And you can pick and choose anything you want. And when you order over $99, you will get free shipping. Go to caneswear.com.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
All right. Ken Sean, you got to stop already, bro. You had Bitcoin going down to 10,000. Remember? I don't forget that. Okay. You have zero credibility here, my man. Okay. I appreciate you tuning in and talking sports. Don't tell me anything about business and investments. I have zero respect for you when it comes to that. And I'm saying with a completely serious face. I am not joking. I have zero respect for you when it comes to crypto. You know nothing about this. You write a lot of bullshit and it's completely wrong. Okay? All right? We cool now? We understand? So there will be no bet, no nothing, because you have no credibility, my man. Okay? You've given many bad predictions already. You and Tremolio is the other one that doesn't show up anymore, but he was another one that made all kinds of crypto predictions and knows nothing about crypto. Okay? And he says he's a day trader, and maybe he is, but I know he doesn't know shit about crypto, and you don't know shit about crypto. So you lost me already. Put it that way. You've lost me already. Like I see it, and when I see that you're talking Bitcoin, I'm like done. I'm moving on to the next question. Just so you'll know, So I just wanted to send it out to you to just kind of tell you that you're wasting your time now when you're talking to me about crypto. I'm dead serious, like freaking dead serious. Zero respect for you. Okay, I think you're a fucking clown when it comes to talking about crypto. Put it that way. Okay? Because I take it serious and I follow it. So I just think you're just a buffoon when you're talking about crypto. Okay? We cool? We good? Omar said yesterday he sees Raekwon Davis a more 4-3 defensive tackle. Do you envision Fangio possibly using him like, no, they run a 3-4, dude. They're not going to run a 4-3. When you play two down linemen in front of Phillips and Chubb on the edges. No, this is a year where Raekwon Davis has to prove that, one, he's worth the draft pick, which he has not proved that yet. And then two, he's got to win Fangio over to stay here for next year. This is the problem when you add a new coach. There's a transitional year where some players may not fit. Some players may not be good enough. And so you kind of got to deal. And I'm not saying Raekwon is, but it's going to happen. You know, Brandon Jones may not be good enough in coverage the way he needs him to be. You understand? So while I like Brandon Jones a lot, and I thought he was improving in coverage, in Fangio's system, from what I understand, you've got to be like really good in coverage in almost every position out there. And so if Brandon is not up to snuff, and I know he's coming back from an injury, which poor kid, that makes it harder for him, then that might be where we might see some inconsistencies in that position, or he has to find somebody else to play that spot. And then defensive tackle is the same thing. If you don't fit what he needs, then you're going to have to switch things around. And then you're in a transitional year, and then by next year in the offseason, that's when you're actually trying to draft somebody, trade for somebody, because Raekwon didn't fit or Fangio didn't like him, or for whatever reason. And then now you've got to replace him. So that's the tricky part when you bring in a new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator. There are some guys on there that you just can't get rid of right away, and you have to either find out if they fit or they don't fit. And that's kind of where we're at right now with certain guys. And Raekwon is one, and Brandon Jones is another. Like, I know the other safety, Holland, fits any scheme you want. Ramsey and X fit any scheme you want. You know what I'm saying? So it's different for those kind of guys. But in the safety spot, Brandon was trying to improve in the area that you need to excel in with Fangio. And so Raekwon, we're going to find out. Does he fit what Fangio wants to do? Does he produce like Fangio wants? We'll know. We shall know. Big O is on a tear today. Nah, not on a tear. It's just, it's funny to, when people talk to me about something that I follow and know a lot about, and then you're constantly wrong and you're telling me stupid shit. Oh, no, Bitcoin's going to go down to 10,000. No, dude, it never went down to 10,000. You know what I mean? So it's like, whatever, bro. And I get it. It's like that blind ass fan. You guess enough. At one point, you'll guess it right. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean you know anything. And for me, Kenshawn doesn't know jack shit. He talks a lot of shit, posts a lot of stuff, and none of it ever comes true. So, it's like, dude, you don't even really invest in it. That's what I love. The people that are telling me about this, they don't even invest in it. They just want to be negative about it. That's all. And it's always negative. He never really brings in anything positive. He never says, hey, this is going to happen and this is good. So you can always tell the trolls and the fools that really don't follow or invest in it. You know what I'm saying? Because I know what's going on. Now, am I like a genius that I can predict when it's going to go up or when it's going to go? Of course not. Nobody knows. You can only invest. You can only do your homework and figure out what companies you like and don't like. And then you got to live with your decisions and hope that they work out. But, if you're going to talk to me about crypto, then, brother, make sure you know what the hell you're talking about. Because I'm going to know right away if you don't. And I know what you are then. I know what you're just trying to be, a smart ass. And then when you're trying to be a smartass, well, then I can be a bigger smartass. Like with Troy Ortiz. And he tried to be a smartass. Let's see. George says, Big O, just my opinion here. At this point, the only thing that can bring Bitcoin back down to 10 grand would be another black swan event. Pray it never happens. Yeah, it would be a world war. It would be the deficit ceiling not being raised, and we crash. Yeah, dude. Of course, lots of things could do. Like catastrophic things, black swanish. Like, hell yeah, could happen to anything. Of course, but eventually, the mining rate is going up. The hash rate has exploded to a point where it's at levels that it's never been at. The exchanges are at all-time lows with Bitcoin, that they're running out of Bitcoin, where everything is getting hodled. Whales are continuing to swallow Bitcoin and hold it. The Lightning Network just expanded to I forgot how many countries. Mallers was talking about, from 2 to like 40 countries all over the place. I don't know how many billions of people now. I think it's like 2 billion people or something have access to the Lightning Network, or something ridiculous like that. So you're talking about an enormous amount of growth that's happening. China and Japan were just now finally, they're allowing their citizens to get involved in Bitcoin. So now in this next couple of months here, you're going to see another pump coming from Asia. Now the cryptocurrency exchanges there are getting their licenses and getting ready to do business. And then I believe in China, you may have to be, the individuals, human beings like you and me, you have to be, I think, approved to then buy crypto. And then they limit you to certain cryptos that you can buy, which are the major ones: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Avalanche, Cardano, Litecoin, like just the major ones. I mean, if you know about all this stuff, which a guy like Ken Sean doesn't know shit about, the everything is there for you, that you can see that the roadmap is being laid out. Okay. Adoption is growing every single day. More and more people are using Bitcoin on a daily basis, right? More and more holders are coming into the ecosystem. It only goes up, the amount of holders. The amount of holders with 0.1 Bitcoin, which is not even 1 Bitcoin, just 10% of a Bitcoin, has gone through the roof. The amount of people that hold 1 Bitcoin is at an all-time high. The amount of people that own 10 or more Bitcoin continues to be at an all-time high. Everything tells you that it's headed in the right direction. Banks around the world are now starting to see the light, because they're dying, and they're adding cryptocurrency to their portfolios. And they're allowing their customers to buy cryptocurrency through their banking systems and all that kind of stuff. Fidelity is one of the biggest banks in the United States. They are creating their own cryptocurrency exchange. I mean, it's just, it goes on and on. I have so many examples I can talk about and educate you on the growth of what's going on with crypto and Bitcoin. It's ridiculous. It can only go one way, and that's a skyrocket way, like parabolic. That's all. It's just a matter of time, but people don't have patience. That's all it is. And people just want to, wish the worst. But the bottom line is, fiat currencies all over the world are caving in and falling, because our fractionalized banking system does not work here, and it doesn't work anywhere else in the world. And that's why eventually everything is going to go to shit, and they'll go to digital currencies, and then Bitcoin and Ethereum and many others are going to be used as currency throughout the world. It's going to happen, whether you like it or not. And I get it. Some people don't want change or refuse to adapt to change. This one is going to run you over if you choose to avoid it or be indifferent. It's not going to pay off for you. That's all. So when I have people that try to tell me something about Bitcoin when they know nothing about it, like Kenshan, and what can I tell you, man? It is what it is. Trust me, Big O. Everyone wants Bitcoin to go down to buy more, including myself. Yeah, but that's not what the other ones. They're not thinking of that. They're just trying to be, Mr. Negative. By the way, check your local gas station. Bitcoin ATMs ain't going anywhere. I know. That's growing too. Big O, my friend asked me, how would you be able to access your cryptocurrency in a massive power grid failure scenario as opposed to having gold and silver bars on hand? Just curious. Ask your friend, where's his gold and silver bars? Does he have them in his house? Because if there's a major shutdown, aren't they in a bank inside a vault? So if there's major electricity and computers and all, you will not access your banks at all. You know that, right? Just wondering. And by the way, what are you going to do? Carry your gold around like back in the 1800s? You know what they're going to do? Pull out a gun and knock your ass out and steal your gold. And how are you supposed to do that? Are you going to... So it's a major crisis. Electricity's gone down, which is, complete bullshit, of course, because, we have solar, we have all kinds of ways to get back on the internet. We have generators, we have all kinds of stuff, but whatever your friend wants to do. Okay, so we have a major power outage. So he's walking around with a gold bullion, right? So what's he doing? Shaving off a piece here. Let me go to Burger King. Here, let me shave off a piece of gold for you. Really? Is that what he's doing? Come on, bro. That's the stupid shit that people ask, that it's like, I got to go Scarface on you. Get your head out of your culo. The day there's one of those things, everything is done. And it puts you in a disadvantage. But if you have digital currency and if you have it's not going anywhere. It's going to be there and no one can take it away from you. You have your 12 words, you have your custodial wallet, it's all locked in. Now, you use CBDCs, the government can control how you spend your money, where you spend your money. Oh, they can even put a time limit on your money, that you have to spend it by this date or it expires. Yeah, wait for digital currency by the government. That's going to be really good, sir. And I can't wait to watch you with your gold bullion, walking around. Oh, I gotta go put gas. Yeah, let me break off a piece of. Here you go for. Yeah, no, gold bullions and silver walking around. Yeah, that's gonna really. And by the way, does your friend also have like a little brown bag with a rope also, carrying around his gold and his silver? Is he hanging around with Robin Hood and his merry men? Is he gonna live also in a tree house? Can we be more ridiculous? Metals are a hedge on economic hardship, not for barter and trade. This is not Mad Max. No, but think about it. Won't digital currency by the government make other cryptos worthless with regulations? If you can only buy you, no, they won't. And they won't be able to do that, my man. They won't be able to do it. See, the difference is the CBDCs are just like the dollar. They'll just print more and more and more and more. So all your money in your savings account is buying less and less and less. So if you're getting 1 or 0.5% or 1/3% or 2% or whatever on something, and inflation's at 5%, you're not gaining a goddamn thing. Okay. And then all they do is print more and more money, which if you print more and more money, it's valued less. There's only 21 million Bitcoin. That's it. Once all of them are mined and we're under 2 million less left to mine, once they're gone, that's it. There will be no more printed. There can't be any more printed. That's all. The value is only going to increase. That can't happen with digital currency because it's not limited. It's unlimited. That's where people don't really understand what's going on. The rest of the world is getting way ahead of us on digital currency and Bitcoin. Way ahead of us. Because of our democratic government, which is really stupid and they don't understand it. And I don't care about Democrats or Republicans. Again, I got to keep repeating it for you idiots out there. But the morons that we currently have in place, they want to control you with CBDCs. Right? And they've made so much money through the banking systems that they're married to the banking systems. So they don't want Bitcoin because they can't control Bitcoin. They want to control you, but they can't with Bitcoin. So stop listening to the Elizabeth Warrens of the world. She's only spewing misinformation because she's as dirty as it gets. Just like Trump and just like Biden and just like, they're all dirty. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. Stop being naive out there. Are you familiar with Kaspa? I am familiar. I don't know enough about it. I'm not invested in it, but I've heard a lot about it. Let's see. Can the government tax you on cryptocurrency? Yes, they can. Of course. Once you, it's like a stock. Once you've made profits, then you pay taxes for sure. But that's everywhere. That's normal. If you've made an investment and you make profits on that investment, you get taxed on that investment. Remember, you only win or lose in investing, stocks or crypto or anything, when you sell. So if you sell too low, then you lose your money. If you sell high, you make money. That's the way it goes. If you don't sell, you're not making any money. You're not losing any money. You're staying steady and you can't get taxed. You get taxed once you cash in. Okay? Or you get tax break when you cash out and you lose. Because if you lose, then obviously that helps you out a little bit too, because that goes against your winnings there. Let's Big O stash all the cash in a huge honkin' mattress. That's it. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. I withdrew every coin when they emailed me the IRS was coming. Well, that's your problem. Game 2 for the Heat should be more like Game 6. I think I'll lose confidence if they lose Sunday. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't have a ton of confidence in the series, to be quite honest. I think Denver is better, and I picked them Denver in 6. But I said this earlier. If they don't win on Sunday, they got no shot in this series. None. It's over. And I know it's not, but I don't see the Heat winning 4 of the next 5 after that. I think it's impossible. All right, let's take a quick break. Hour number 3, and Cameron Wolf is next.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Miles an hour, that's a Category 4 hurricane. 3 deaths are reported in Florida after more than 24 were killed in the Caribbean. This
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com. Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your Inter Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or intermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Your home for everything Heat.
They stand eye to eye with history, and they did not blink. The Heat are going to the NBA Finals.
Panthers.
The Florida Panthers are headed to the Stanley Cup Finals.
The Big O Radio Show goes deep on playoff coverage.
We don't care what the rest of the world is saying. We don't care who's criticizing who. You got to line up between these four lines and let's figure this out.
The Big O Radio Show. The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. We unleash the Wolf Pack as we get the latest in the NFL and the Miami Dolphins with our KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL Network insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370. Here's NFL insider Cameron Wolf.
There he is. How you doing, my man? You doing good?
Good. Oh, how you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good. I can't complain, although last night kind of sucked. They didn't play very well, but, you know.
What are you going to do, right?
Yeah. I mean, I picked Denver in 6, so I'm not going to act like, oh, my God, I was shocked that they lost and all that kind of stuff. But, it is what it is.
By the way, Denver is really good. This kind of got lost, and we had a lot of conversations about Embiid and Jokic and Denver and all of this, and people think I hate Denver.
By the way, they haven't let it go on this show.
Oh, yeah?
I
was like, I'm sure they haven't, and they shouldn't, because, like I said, it's fun. And I still do believe that Embiid is the better player. I will not relinquish that. But I will say Denver has consistently been the best team in the West, and arguably, other than the Celtics, the best team in the league throughout, like the whole season. And so,
the Sixers don't have Jamal Murray, dude.
Correct.
That's the bottom line. Yeah, it's a wash between I don't give a shit about Embiid or Jokic. That's we're splitting
Well,
hair.
Jokic is really, really good.
He's
Like,
phenomenal.
He's such
phenomenal.
a unique player too.
Yeah,
The
he's
way he-
phenomenal. But both of them are phenomenal. But neither one of them are winning shit if it's the other guys around them that have to really get it done. And his supporting cast is superior to Embiid.
They have a complete team, man. Aaron Gordon is a complete mismatch for the Heat. They don't have a guy that's able to guard him down low. They just don't. They've tried a lot of different options. I just don't really know what the answer. A lot of these dudes they play are too small for him, or they're not.
They went cheap. They went cheap and didn't want to pay for a power forward. And here's where you needed PJ.
And the thing about it is, it hasn't hurt them really until this series.
Because there's not a lot of size. The size is not a thing that much in the NBA. In fact, they couldn't play Love in the last series because Boston was countering with a small lineup.
Exactly.
But now they're playing Denver, and they're long everywhere, dude.
Yeah.
It's like Murray's a 6'4" guard, and then you've got Porter who's long, and so you've got a bunch of guys on that team that they're just a pain in the ass, to match up. Gordon, Gordon was miscasted in Orlando because you're trying to make him a frontline player when his offensive skills don't set it up. But where he's at now, that he gets to play. What's the name of the Australian dude that everybody likes? That's with the Thunder and where is he at now? The long-haired guy that he kind of reminds me of.
Adams?
Yeah, he kind of
Adams?
reminds that he'll keep up anything underneath. That the power game, rebounding, all of that. And Aaron Gordon, all he has to do is hang around the paint, and Jokic is going to find your ass, and you're going to pick up easy baskets, dude.
So it's interesting as you're discussing this. It's kind of like the NFL, but really in all sports go through waves, right? And the current wave is you got to have superstars and shooters, right? And your wing players, all of a sudden, the forward position has often translated to being really a second power, small forward, a second forward. You essentially have we're going to have our two guards, and then we're going to have two small forwards as our wing. And then we're going to have a center. And so Boston has that formula essentially, right? You've got a lot of times they played the big lineup against Philly, but otherwise they're playing, a combination of Smart, of Derek White, of Tatum and Brown. And those are their four other than Horford, right? And all those guys are essentially guards, big guards. So that's essentially the new era. But when you play a team that can actually play you out of it, like Denver, who has a true 4 in Aaron Gordon, a true 5 who can pass the ball, and Jokic, it really tests you. And there's not a lot of teams that have a true 4 and a true 5, but still have the ability, like Denver does, to shoot and beat you from the 1 through 3 spots. With Michael Porter, with a Jamal Murray. They're just such a deep team. And they have such incredible talent all the way through. And so we'll see. I mean, I'm not writing the Heat off yet. I think people will be foolish to do that given what they've done throughout the season, but they clearly have they got to
win tomorrow. I mean, on Sunday, they got to win game 2.
I'd say, the series doesn't start until
they're not beating Denver 4 out of 5. If they
series doesn't start until somebody loses at home.
Right. No, but if you don't win on Sunday, you have no shot in this series unless there's, Jokic blows out a knee or Jamal Murray or something that just completely opens the door for them. I think the Heat has to win Sunday. They have to win Sunday.
It would certainly help. I don't think it's a must win just because I just saw the Celtics come back from 3-0 and nearly.
Yeah, but this is Denver. No. Denver's better than Boston, better than Miami, better than Milwaukee. They're better, dude. You can't screw around with this team.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, they toyed with the Lakers, bro. They toyed with the Lakers.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. Phoenix too.
Yeah. To me, you have to win on Sunday. If not, I don't think you have a shot in hell at all. I completely write them off if they lose. And by the way, Butler is injured because he did not have a free throw and he did not play like his hair was on fire. And it's the finals. Something's going on with Jimmy Butler. This reminded me of X. the same shit. I can have my issues with X about the stupid contract issues every year and
You do.
the field issues, and I've had and also other injuries that he's had too. But I can compartmentalize and take all that bullshit away. And I never used any of that last year. You know that. And I said, something's going on with X.
Right.
That's not 100% because there's no way you're beating X that badly. No freaking way you're beating him that badly.
Right.
And so to me, when I saw Butler play like this in game 1, this is not game 7 that you're all worn out. I got it then. I was okay. Maybe he's a little worn out. I'm starting to think Butler's injured. What do you think?
Yeah, he probably is. He probably is banged up. But to be frank, everybody's banged up. And I know Butler.
I think he's injured.
He may be injured too, right? But the reality is, if we're keeping it consistent, and I love Jimmy Butler. I told you guys, he's my favorite player that doesn't play on my favorite team. Sixers fan, obviously, I got affinity for them. I love Jimmy Butler. Never should have got rid of him. But we didn't make the excuse for Joel Embiid when he had an injured knee that he's playing on, or sprained ACL.
But Joel wasn't
right? Huh?
Embiid and Butler are not complaining about
Correct.
Injuries.
Correct. Correct. Neither one is complaining. My point is that everybody eviscerated the Sixers. They didn't say, oh, well, they get a pass because Embiid's hurt. No, they still got eviscerated. Jason Tatum sprains his ankle or whatever he did. And to me, the Celtics should not have gotten an excuse. They put themselves in that situation. They get what they get. Celtics fans may have used it as an excuse, but to me, it's not a narrative. Jimmy's hurt, but he's been hurt since late in last series. And to me, that is not an excuse. It's probably a valid reason, but it's not an excuse for you to lose the series. I don't think that's something you say, oh, well, we don't win the series.
In their case, yes. See, I think all of these things are completely different. You're lumping them all together. I don't. Jimmy is one star on this team, the only star. Without that star shining bright, they have no shot at winning. Embiid was hurt. There's no doubt. But I also watched Embiid last year all fucked up with a cast in his hand, and he played his freaking ass off last year.
But he's just built that way. I mean, he's built that way.
But my point is that I can use those excuses for those two dogs because those guys aren't pointing at their injuries as excuses, and they're just fighting through it. And Embiid's issue wasn't Embiid. It's what's around him, dude, that it's just not enough around him. And that's his problem. Embiid is not the problem with the Philadelphia 76ers. It's the cast around them that hasn't been good enough. And even when they did have it, because when they had Butler, they could have made a decision to kind of make the right decisions, and they didn't make the right decisions there. Now, with Tatum, this has been a flaky team for years now. You know what I'm saying? And he's the one that was sitting on the podium whining about his ankle and all that stuff. And then Jaylen Brown had to point about his ankle and all about, Tatum's ankle. Even Brown was whining about Tatum's ankle. And to me, that's what I can defend Embiid and Butler and say, hey, those guys were injured, but those guys are warriors. Okay, so I'm going to give them the excuse because they deserve it. Jason Tatum, or how about Jaylen Brown? Brother, you didn't have an ankle issue. And you choked that same night the same way Tatum did, just like White did, so just like the dude with the green hair, Marcus Smart. They all choked. They all shot poorly. So they don't get the excuse because I still question who they are. I don't question Embiid and Butler. I just don't. I really don't. I look at them differently. I don't know about you, but that's why when you were lumping them together, I kind of think, and Jimmy's just all by himself, dude. Although Bam played well yesterday. Got to give Bam a lot of love yesterday. Did well.
Going to learn a lot about this Heat team on Sunday.
All right, I want to find out something from you.
Okay.
So Ben Simmons is looking swole. So do they have weights for the heart?
As you know, as my Sixers fandom, I don't have a very strong affinity for Ben Simmons. And Mama told me if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. And so I'm just gonna let Ben Simmons.
You know, I've been around sports a little longer than you, but you've been around a long time, and you're going into these locker rooms. I'm just wondering, are there any weights for your heart? You know, to courage.
I have not
or
seen any.
do you have to go to the wizard to get that?
To me, that's something you either have or you don't. And so I've wiped Ben Simmons' conversation from my memory. And I will say, as much as we give Harden flack and he hadn't shown up in the playoffs, the Sixers absolutely won that trade because they got off of Ben Simmons' contract and they got something of value for him. Which at the
and
time,
they're about to get out of the Harden contract if they want now. If he moves on,
they'll have a decision. I don't think they're going to give him the max, but I think it's smart. I think they'll tell you to take the contract at the value we want it, or if you don't really value winning, go to Houston and take as much money as you want and have your retirement tour for the next few years.
All right, you're getting the questions. I get the questions. So when does Dalvin Cook become a Dolphin? Go ahead, tell us.
I don't know that this is a lock to happen like a lot of fans assume it is. Like I know Dalvin's from this area, and so like many people around this area, he probably would love to play here. There's no state taxes. It makes a lot of sense. But I think the Dolphins are probably comfortable with their running back room. They're probably not going to spend a lot of money on him. And Minnesota probably doesn't want to give him away for anything. And so I think the interesting conversation is, do they, a lot of running backs have been sort of, I don't want to use the term bullied, but sort of pressured into taking some sort of pay cut and say, hey, I don't know what Dalvin Cook's making, maybe $11 or $12 million. Hey, trim that number to 8 and we'll guarantee it and you're good for the year. Cook, of course, wants his full 12. I'm just saying a random number. And so you have to take your chances. Do you want to say no, call their bluff, see if they keep you on the roster for 12 or cut you and you see if you can make 8 on the open market? I'm not sure if he makes 8 on the open market. I'm just like putting up variable numbers. I don't know what the numbers actually are. And so that's why it's a tough decision. Like I mentioned this earlier to you guys. I was on GMFB with Aaron Jones, who was the Green Bay Packers running back. And he took a $5 million pay cut. I think it actually was $6 million pay cut earlier this offseason. He was set to make $17 million. He came off a year where he played all the games this season. He was very productive. But the Packers essentially were like, we're not paying you 17. And so you can take this 11, we'll guarantee it, or good luck on the free agency market. And he said, you know what? Free agency market is not looking great for us. I'm going to take my 11 and keep it moving.
So can you explain Saquon Barkley? Like he turned down one that was like 14 or 15 from the Giants.
Right.
And it's like, yo, dude, you're an injury-prone back. I get it. You're insulted by the tag to the quarterback because I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
That he thought he was going to get the tag, and then the money would have been a little better. But now the quarterback got the tag, and now he refused that deal. And I'm like, yo, dude, they're not going to be out on the open market giving you $50 million. So running.
It's just the value of running backs these days. Like teams have decided that running backs are the least valuable position outside of specialists. Outside of specialists and like very, very
safety,
like very small role positions like fullback or like nose tackle. There's no other position that are making as little as running backs. And so they've clearly been
used up. Holy crap.
Right. And so I get it. Like Saquon Barkley's probably like, man, I am the offense of the New York Giants. I'm seeing Daniel Jones get 40, 45 million. And you telling me I got to swallow this 10, 11 and do it with a smile and nothing guaranteed beyond this year. It doesn't seem fair, but that's the reality. And so Dalvin Cook's going to have a decision to make. But the problem is, I just don't know if there's a ton of money just sitting out there in free agency for Dalvin Cook. So, like, if you really just wanted to be out of Minnesota, huh?
And not for that position.
Exactly.
And so, like, I hate to say it, both Dalvin Cook and Saquon have a rich injury history.
Right.
That will scare you too in a contact position.
Absolutely. And so, like, for example, I would be shocked if, quote unquote, the Vikings released Dalvin Cook and then he made $10+ million on a new deal a year. It just would surprise me. Now he could certainly sign somewhere, get an incentive-based deal, be somewhere that he maybe would rather be, maybe Miami, maybe somewhere else. But I just don't think that he makes anywhere close to what he's making currently. And so that's why he has a real decision to make. And that's why I don't think it's a lock that Minnesota says, hey, we're just going to cut you.
Yeah. And by the way, you're just going to go with Madison? No, dude, be smart. Have a couple of backs. You need a couple of backs. And Minnesota, you're really not. Are you that desperate to get rid of the money? You got plenty of money still under the cap right now. You're not.
Right. And they're going through a little bit of a transition. Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, I think, is a really smart GM, and they do a lot of things by the numbers. And so they got rid of Zadarius Smith. His number became a little too high. He wanted to restructure. They felt like his age and where he was in this contract probably wasn't worth it. They moved him for a pick, right? Dalvin Cook, I'm sure if there was a team out there willing to give them some sort of compensation, whether it's a 5th or 6th round pick at this stage, they'd probably consider it. But to get rid of him for free and not really get anything back from, I don't know if they're at that stage of their relationship. But I could be wrong.
I think they restructure. I think it's what you said at the beginning.
Yeah, I think that's to me, that's the most likely option. But like I said, I understand. I don't want to crush dreams. I know Dolphins fans were like waiting July 1st. Now it's July 2nd. Where's Dalvin Cook? He's supposed to be here. And like I said, maybe he still gets released and maybe it still happens. But I never saw it as this quote unquote July 1st happens. The Dolphins have money. All of a sudden he's going to get released. The Dolphins are going to sign him and everything's gravy. I just never saw that.
I think people realize that it was probably really hard for Chris Greer on draft day when the coach says, no, I want this guy. And it probably pained him to even use a 3rd rounder on the guy because Chris Greer doesn't like to use high picks on running backs. He doesn't like to spend a lot of big money on running backs. So I would imagine it hurt him to even use that 3rd rounder. So that's what I kind of tell fans out there, that they're not going to trade any picks for this guy and they're not going to pay him money. So if he wants money, he's not coming back to his hometown because if anything, they're going to want low-hanging fruit. And I don't think that's what Dalvin Cook is looking for, unless he says, okay, these guys are a Super Bowl contender. Here's my chance to get the ring and let me go and I'll take the 1-year deal and I'll go there. But
yeah, to me, that's the scenario it would happen if Dalvin's saying, no matter what, I'm going to Miami. The Vikings somehow do release him for nothing. And he takes a very significant pay cut.
$4 million, something like that.
I just don't see a lot of history. Maybe Dalvin's different. I don't see a lot of history of guys saying, I'm going to take a huge pay cut to go play for my hometown team.
Yeah. That's just not normal. By the way, A-Chain's deal, Aaron Wilson just reported 4 years, $34.4 million, and he got $954,000 as a signing bonus.
34 sounds a little off. Maybe 3.4 million.
Oh yeah, that's probably what it is. He probably
I was like maybe 3.4 or I don't know. The 3rd round pick, he's probably not making a 34. Probably
3.4. That's 3.4 makes sense.
Yes,
my bad. Because it's a $900,000 signing bonus.
Yeah,
you don't get $34 million and get $900,000.
No. Usually 3rd round picks are making somewhere around a million.
Hey, I'm right or wrong. He needs to swing the.
I was like 34. But yeah, a lot of these rookie deals are already kind of pre-structured, and so you already kind of know. Sometimes you have to work with offsets. Like if you cut this dude before the end of the contract, does he get to double dip with another team, or is it the other team?
Is that what you're telling Dolphin fans that's going on with Cam now? That's probably more language with Cam Smith than money.
Yeah, it's absolutely language. How much of the contract is guaranteed? Is there offset language? Do you have to come for off-season workouts? Is there any bonuses for different things like that? Like they're small language things, but for the most part, the actual number is already set. You're going to make, I don't know how much a 2nd round pick makes. Let's say 4 years, $8 million. Like you can't argue for, I want 8.5. No, it's structured pretty much for a reason. You get your number. Now you can argue for guarantees. You can argue for when you get the signing bonus, how much maybe the quote unquote signing bonus is, that sort of thing, and like offset language. So that's usually the only thing that holds up negotiations.
Anything going to be available now June 1st? Forget the Dalvin Cook stuff, but any other kind of situations like Dalvin Cook around the league that could open up an opportunity for Miami at another position?
I don't know that there's a lot waiting out there, to be honest. The thing about the June 1st date is that's when money becomes available for other teams, but teams can designate players for June 1st cuts in April and in March, so a lot of the guys who are going to be cut have already been cut. I don't think there's going to be a huge influx of dudes getting cut now that is quote unquote June 1st. Now, you get to training camp and you see guys and you say, hey, this vet's not going to make our team. We give them an opportunity to hit the market early. Sometimes that happens. Teams often save some money. Like I know people look at the figure they got from Byron Jones, $13 million. It's like, oh, we have $13 million to spend. Well, teams like to have $5, $6, $7 million kind of sitting in the bank around the start of the season for kind of emergency fund. Something happens, somebody gets hurt, we need to do this, we need to do that. We need to sign somebody around cut down day that costs a little bit money. You had that flexibility. And so I don't anticipate them using all 13 million here. They'll use some of it to sign their rookies, which they have, not a lot of money. But then maybe they make a signing or two before camp. But I don't think there's going to be this huge spending spree of this money.
Byron Jones officially cut today. Do you know anything about it? Where he's at health-wise, future, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, just to be honest, I have heard nothing about Byron Jones. I heard initially that he wasn't, at that time, wasn't planning to retire, but I also have heard nothing as far as free agency interest, where he is on his health process, where he is with the Dolphins and how their end is, if there's any, type of litigation he's trying to go through there. I don't know. I've literally heard nothing from Byron Jones. I've reached out to some people who know him well, and he's just, what I understand, he's not really in the mood of talking. And so we'll just wait until he wants to talk or wants to show where he's at. And so in the meantime, we're just kind of a little bit in the darkness about what's next for Byron Jones.
Has he bought a new Porsche?
I don't know that either. I did hear rumblings that he sold a car or two. I'm not sure which ones, but I don't know if that's related at all to this to the injury.
He sold one to a current Dolphin.
I'm not sure who he sold it to, but I was told that he sold one or two of his cars.
Okay, all right, sounds good. Well, I mean, you got to plan for the future now that you're not, in football. You got to start cutting back here. Not the same amount of money's coming in, so. I like it. Byron is planning ahead for the future, cutting down on the overhead. Very smart man. Very smart man. All right, what do you got going on in the NFL Network so folks can check you out?
Frank Vogel getting hired by the Suns. Just news just came out. For me, I will. So it's the weekend. I'm going to hang out with some family and some friends this weekend. Next week, we gear up for Dolphins minicamp. And so I'll be out there every day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You'll have some TV coverage on both NFL Network and our NFL Plus app, both Tuesday and Wednesday, and likely Thursday as well. So definitely heavy Dolphins coverage next week. So tune in to NFL Network, NFL Plus, and we'll give you your last taste of Dolphins in-person access until training camp. And so big week for anybody who's wants that final nuggets about their team before everybody goes on their summer vacation.
Can I ask you for a favor on behalf of the entire Dolphin Nation? I'll do some of it on my own and try to find out. It's time to find out what's going on with the logo. Is there any plans for a change? Because we are in that 10-year period of we're in the window when they can make the change if they want, or maybe there's some plans to make the change in the next year or two or three or something. But I'm wondering, because it's a sore subject for a lot of people in the Dolphin Nation, including yours truly. So I'm wondering if there's any movement at all on the logo.
We will see. I may ask a person or two to see what's going on there.
Okay, you got the weekend to do it. We'll catch up next week.
All right, man. Enjoy yourself.
All right. You got it. Let's go. Get the investigation going. That is Cameron Wolf, baby. KSDT CPAs. Listen, I don't want you dodging the government. You better pay your damn taxes. So here we go. Okay. Home business. There you go. There's the QR code. You can use it. reach out to our great people. They've got offices in Dade, Broward, Palm Beach. They're going to open one up soon in North Carolina, or I think it's about opened already. They opened another one also I can't talk about. That's, but they're expanding all over the place. I mean, they are just like, they're like dinky doggy, just growing and growing and growing. That might be too much of an old reference for you all out there, but they're growing. Like, it's out of control, that kind of stuff. And they do an amazing job. So if you want to help your business thrive, not just survive, reach out to the great people at KSDT CPA. They can help you in so many ways, from insurance to planning to payroll to, of course, dealing with what's going on right now in the economy and seeing where your business is at. You want to know what your business is valued, all of those things. Reach out to the great people at KSDT CPAs. And if you miss the deadline, they can get you the extension. Or I know that Biden got cut some of his money on his tax audits that he was going to send out because he was hiring a whole bunch of new people for the IRS. Well, maybe he's not hiring as many, but apparently they're going to go after people that have not paid their taxes in the past years. So if you're one of those, you need to call KSDT, use that QR code right now, or call them and tell them that Big O sent you. They will take care of you. KSDT CPAs, 305-670-3370.
This has been the KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
All right. John C., thank you for the love on the super chat. He says, would you rather the Finns get Dalvin than the Bills? John C., I can't play that game. You can't worry about that shit. Okay? You just can't. So I'm not worried about that. They have what they want to do with the team, okay? If he wants to come to the Dolphins, then he will not be traded for. They're not giving up picks for him. They're not giving up big salaries. So if he's willing to take a severe pay cut, I've told you guys, $3-4 million. Maybe they'll add some incentives on top of that, maybe. Something like that. That would make sense, where he could go to $5-6-7 million or something if he reaches certain incentives. But they're not going to give him big salaries. So if he wants a big salary, he's going to have to go somewhere else. And by the way, the Bills, I'm not sure if you know this, the Bills have less money than the Dolphins, a lot less. So they can't really afford to give out that. Their GM said it. That's why they weren't really that active in free agency. Their GM said that they will not be able to spend this offseason because they've got their own players that they've got to retain and keep. And they're not going to be able to retain everybody next year. So they've got to save some stuff here and get ready for what's coming because they've got a wave of players. So you can't play the nervous Nelly game that you're worried about the Bills. And quite frankly, I know some of you may not care for me to say this or may not believe it or whatever. The Dolphins are better than the Bills, and they're going to prove it this year. They just got to stay healthy. They stay healthy, and they got a shot. All righty. What else do we have going on? Ryan Tannehill. You want to hear a funny story? This is a funny story. Ryan Tannehill. Well, that alone is funny, right? I mean, just saying Ryan Tannehill is kind of funny. That is one that does bring some humor to the table. But apparently the Falcons could be interested in trading for Ryan Tannehill. Yeah. So here's Action Network's Simon Hunter reported that Atlanta tried to trade for Tannehill during the draft. Okay. Now, the funny story is the Yard Barker is the one putting this story together. And they actually put on the story that if they trade for Ryan Tannehill, that this, you know what? Let me read it instead. I'd rather read it because I think this is funny. Okay. Now, this guy for Yard Barker, Michael Gallagher, I don't think he watched Ryan Tannehill really close. He says, if the Falcons were to pull the trigger for Tannehill, it would nullify two things. First, nobody knows what Ritter is yet. Desmond Ritter, the kid from Cincinnati that's there. He's only 23 and has only had 4 games of starting experience to be judged on. He hasn't played a down with number 8 overall pick Bijan Robinson and hasn't had the chance to really develop a rapport with London or Pitts. Trading for Tannehill would signal that Atlanta essentially wasted a 3rd-round pick last year. Second, trading for Tannehill also likely makes the Falcons playoff contenders. Oh, and then dashes any hopes of one of the top QBs in the 2024 draft in Caleb Williams, Drake May, Q.N. Edwards, or Michael Penix Jr. Trading for Tannehill likely makes the Falcons a playoff contender. In whose eyes? Are the Falcons good enough that Tannehill could lead them to a playoff? No. That's funny. It was a good laugh. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate you out there. What do we have here? At least 30 people were killed and at least 179 hospitalized in India after a passenger train derailed and collided with a goods train in Odalish, Balasore district. Sad. Just seeing that coming across the wire. Anyway, so don't worry about it. Any of that other stuff. For that dude that was worried about the Bills fans. Or the Bills, that is. What else do we have? The writer thinks Tannehill will single-handedly carry them to the playoffs. What drug is Michael? I don't know. Karoon says, I think fans should design a logo based on NFL rules for designs and have other Dolphin fans vote on it. Having said that, I'm one of the few that likes the current logo. Ooh, you do? Ugh. I hate the current logo. Big O, can I pay my taxes in slices of gold or silver cut fresh off bars that I lug around? Oh, man. That is awesome. You never know. Oh, the Falcons do play in the NFC South. Yeah. No. I give New Orleans a shot in the NFC South. Carolina has a better shot than Atlanta. Tampa's terrible. So, yeah, those two, Tampa and Atlanta, will share the bottom of the division. Carolina second, and the Saints will be first. The Saints actually have a playoff team. Now that they added Carr, they've got a playoff caliber team. That's for sure. So, Ja Moran ruling is not going to come down right away. Did you guys catch the commissioner? The commissioner was asked about the Ja Morant situation, and he kind of commented that we have found some. Let me read you the exact quote from the commissioner. And I remember when we had Ira on, we were kind of going back and forth, and Ira thought it would be about 10 games, and I thought it would be a lot more, like 30. I'm actually starting to think it's going to be at least a half a season. But anyway, it says we've uncovered a fair amount of additional information. I think since I was first asked about the situation, I will say we probably could have brought it to a head now, but we made the decision. I believe the Players Association agrees with us that it would be unfair to these players and these teams in the middle of the series to announce the results of that investigation. Given that we're, of course, in the offseason, he has now been suspended by the Memphis Grizzlies indefinitely. So nothing would have changed anyways in the next few weeks. It seemed better to park it at the moment, and at least any public announcement, and my sense now is that shortly after the conclusion of the finals, we will announce the outcome of the investigation. Okay? And they gave him an 8-game suspension last time. So that's why I don't think, Ira thinks it'll be 10. I think it's going to be now 40. I think it'll be half a season. And I have no problem with half a season or maybe even an entire season so that young man can really work on himself because he's got problems. He's got serious problems that are going to lead to something really ugly. Forget about just basketball. It's more about the human being. So now the question is Ja Morant smart enough to figure this shit out on his own? You know? That's really the question now. Is this guy smart enough? Does he have the common sense to understand that he has put himself in an absolutely brutal position? We're going to find out. We are going to find out. By the way, those of you in New York or Florida Live or whatever. What are you going to say there, Sean? What happened? You good?
No, you froze up for about a minute there. I came on to see what happened, but yeah.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
No, you're back now. You're good. As soon as I hit it, I don't know. I brought you out of the screen and put you back in, and it was fine. I don't know if that did anything.
Did I get the Ja Morant deal out already?
You just finished that, and then you went to go to do something else, and then that's when you froze. You said New York something.
Oh, okay. All right. New York has a lot of rats. No, I'm sorry. Billy Joel is going to end his Madison Square Garden run, his residency. And, I've seen Billy Joel a whole bunch of times. I watched for a couple of years. I was going with the family over to the BB&T Center to see the New Year's Eve show, and it was great. Awesome. But he's had a residency there for 10 years. He has the record now of 150 shows. By the way, he broke his own record of 65 straight there. Okay. He's going to run through July 2024. And throughout that time, Billy Joel has sold 1.6 million tickets at Madison Square Garden. All 50 states, people from all 50 states have gone to Madison Square Garden to go see Billy Joel. How freaking cool is that? Okay. I mean, you would think, oh, yeah, dude, of course, people have flown to go see Billy Joel. Like, I'm dying to do it myself. Now I have till July of 2024. I've seen Billy Joel a bunch, but to see him at MSG, that's just something special. You know what I'm saying? So any of you that have seen Billy Joel at MSG, I envy you on that one. But I'm going to do it. Okay. I'm going to go see Billy Joel by July of 2024. I'm going to make some plans. I got to go out there to New York and see one of those shows. By the way, people from 120 different countries have gone to Madison Square Garden to see Billy Joel. 120 countries. That's awesome. That your music has touched that many people, as diverse as it could be, because obviously lots of them probably don't even speak the English language, and they've probably learned English by singing your songs, that kind of stuff. 120 countries. That's awesome. I mean, it's cool that all 50 states, somebody has gone from all 50 states, but 120 countries. That's badass. That's absolutely badass. Very impressive. The other thing, of course, just to kind of stay on the music journey, today in music history, in 1978, Bruce Springsteen released "Darkness of the Edge of Town," the hotly anticipated follow-up to 1975's "Born to Run." In 1978, Thin Lizzy released her double live album, Live and Dangerous. In 1989, a 52-year-old Rolling Stones Bill Wyman secretly married 19-year-old Mandy Smith. All 4 other Stones attended. The marriage lasted 17 months. 52 and 19. Yeah, you have so much in common. In 1973, Paul McCartney topped both the album charts and the singles charts. His latest LP, Wings, Red Rose Speedway, started a 3-week run at #1, while his song, My Love, right, Does It Good, began 4 weeks at the peak of the Hot 100. And in 1983, on this date, Aerosmith kicked off their 169-date Get a Grip World Tour. I remember that. I think I saw that tour. Did I see that tour in the Miami Arena? Was 93 the Miami Arena? Or yeah, it might have been still the Miami Arena. Yeah, it had to have been, right? Because the Reno opened like in 88. So yeah, so it was probably I think it was at the Miami Arena, because I know I went to the Get a Grip tour. For sure. So that's what happened today in music history. And we have some great news, some phenomenal news. Hold on a second here. I'm sorry. A third person now has been charged with the murder of Jam Master Jay from Run DMC. According to a report from the New York Times, Tuesday, May 30th, 49-year-old Jay Bryan of Queens was formally charged with the murder while engaged in narcotics trafficking and other drug trafficking offenses. Federal prosecutors in Brooklyn accused Bryan of being the third person who was involved in the murder of Jam Master Jay, born Jason Mizell. They claim Bryan was seen entering the building the night before the shooting. He also left an article of clothing containing his DNA in the studio where Mizell was shot and killed. Securing an indictment in a secret grand jury applying an extremely low burden of proof is one thing, Bryan's lawyer said, Cesar De Castro, about the indictment. Proving it at a trial will be another. Prior to the shooting, an investigation revealed that Mizell was allegedly in talks to purchase nearly 10 kilos of cocaine from a dealer in the Midwest. The famed DJ reportedly tried to keep the other 2 suspects, Carl Jordan, 39, and Ronald Washington, 59, out of the deal worth $1.7 million. That's when Jordan and Washington went to Mizell's studio and fatally shot him in the head. Rap is I've talked about this subject many, many times over. Rap is the weirdest, craziest, dumbest genre of music that we have going on. This doesn't go on in country, metal, rock, pop, R&B, bluegrass, classic, the crazy shit that happens in rap, dude. Guys that are constantly involved in gun violence. We are constantly losing, our musicians. Like what happened to God, what's this guy's name now that I'm brain farting. We just lost him like 2 years ago or 3 years ago, maybe already, because time flies so quickly. Man, this guy was down in the dumps, built up his career, his life, then was helping others. And he gets shot, over some stupid argument or whatever.
Nipsey Hussle?
Yeah, Nipsey Hussle. A guy that started off things wrong and then straightened out his life, was doing all the right things and helping others. And how are we a better place without Nipsey Hussle? Jason Mizell, sucks that he got killed, but obviously he's doing some dirty shit that, you're involved with those kind of people. That stuff happens. But the rap game is the only one where we're constantly killing our rappers, or they're constantly getting themselves in trouble by hurting other people or doing other things. And it's like we lose rappers left and right, like all the time. It's crime ridden, and I don't understand it. And like Jason Mizell, did you really have to be doing drug dealing? Was it that hard to be at Run DMC? Weren't you still making money? Can't you tour? It's kind of weird, right? It's like the DeLorean guy. Okay, so you got this car and, it's all this buzz, and now you're dealing cocaine behind the scenes. And I think DeLorean was also the car company was having some financial issues, so he was kind of dealing for that. But it's the weirdest thing. You've made it, and then you still decide to do shady shit. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy. But I'm glad they got the third guy there. That is, by the way, still one of the more entertaining concerts I've ever been to, which was Beastie Boys and Run DMC. That was a lot of fun. Let's see here. Oh, Lordy. All right, let me see. What else do we have here? Big O, WWE tonight. Montez Ford versus LA Knight. Well, Montel Jordan always says, "This is how we do it." So I kind of like that song. I know Omar Kelly loves that song. So make sure you reach out to Omar Kelly and tell him about Montel Jordan. And this is how we do it. So since Montel is close to Montez, and, Ford is a tough name, LA Knight, I keep thinking of those, what was those Knight sneakers that were terrible? What were they called? Were they called LA Knights?
British Knights.
British Knights, that's it. Ooh, those were terrible sneakers. So if you try to bring up an LA version of them, they would be also terrible. So I'm going to go with Montez, don't call me Montel Jordan Ford, over LA, loser shoes Suge Knight. So yeah, let's go Montez Ford. What do you got for me there, Sean?
I hope you're wrong, but I think you're right.
Okay.
No, because LA Knight has been getting huge reactions from the crowd, but they don't use them a lot. And so,
does he wear British Knights?
Huh?
Does he wear British Knights on the?
No, he doesn't wear British Knights. No.
Okay, all right, because maybe that might be the reason.
Come on now, he's LA Knight.
You never know. There are no LA Knights, so you figure, he's got to wear British Knights. By the way, if your friend had British Knights, did you make fun of him? In my neighborhood, nobody would have ever bought British Knights because you would have never heard the end of it. Monty Python always made the best British Knights. LA Knight said The Rock stole his shtick. Okay. Can you smell what the LA Knight is cooking? Yeah, it doesn't sound good. Are you sure that's what he said? Anyway, Sean, are you into the Arena League?
No, especially since I know probably where this is heading. Definitely no.
Well, you could go to Albany on the 17th and watch Antonio Brown play in the Arena League.
Is he going to play this time?
This time he will play.
Yeah, all the physicals are done. All the physicals are done this time.
Apparently, he got the physical paperwork in now this time around. So after a major false start, Antonio Brown says for sure he's suiting up with the arena team this league, the Albany Empire, on June 17th. The Empire owner confirmed the news in an interview with a local Albany station. Who else wants to interview this clown? Saying he'll make his big debut as the team's home matchup against the Jacksonville Sharks. By the way, if you're asking me why I don't like AB and he's a clown and why am I promoting this, it's because it's going to be a train wreck, and I love train wrecks. Anyway, AB said initially he was going to throw on a helmet and pads when the Empire hosted Fayetteville, the Mustangs, on May 27th, but those plans fell through after he claimed his physical paperwork wasn't turned into the league on time. He is the owner, right? Yeah. It was a huge disappointment for the larger-than-usual crowd in attendance as the team advertised the game as AB's first return to the field since, of course, the game against the Bucks and the Jets. AB says the game will also be a celebration for Juneteenth, and he's planning to make it a party, including a proper halftime show. He also acknowledged that those who may doubt his words given by how things have played out the last month, but Brown says it's 100% happening this time around. To get ready for the game, AB says he'll practice with the team, and he's expecting to help things turn around at 1-5. That's it. It'll be all AB. You know, he's just going to come to the huddle and say, throw it to me. I own the damn team. Throw it to me or you're getting a pay cut. Throw it to me or you don't get a hotel room. Eventually, he'll end up being the quarterback and the receiver, which will be really cool.
Oh, did you see his offer to Cam Newton?
$150,000.
Yeah.
Does he really have it? Will he really pay it? Like if I'm Cam Newton, I'm like, okay, dude, wire it to my bank now.
Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere until I have the money because you don't pay.
And I need to make sure flights are confirmed and a hotel is booked.
Well, once he pays him the
$150,000, man. Come on. Cam Newton.
Exactly. And he can't even pay everybody on the team. So he's now going to pay Cam Newton. It's like watching ESPN fire like 150 people, and then they go and hire Pat McAfee and give him all that money. It's crazy, dude. Oh, man. Let's see. Unfortunately, I don't see Antonio Brown's life lasting too long. He will mess with the wrong people one day. Carlos says, hey, Big O, can you talk about the finals hat again? You had me rolling last night. Well, we already did. We talked about it earlier. They're Sean with it. But we talked about it earlier, so you can rewind, my man. You know how it is on this show. We don't really repeat content. We continue. We move on. But I did mention it today because I had the proper hat on. Okay. All right. The Heat hat is the real hat, not that gas station piece of shit that they made with a patch. Seriously, you could get a white hat at a gas station and just put that NBA Finals patch on it. Oh, I'm sorry, and the Finals one too. You got to put that in. You get a bonus with the Finals one. Too funny. Too funny. All right, Panthers tomorrow night, TNT, 8 o'clock. Golden Knights are favored by 1.5 goals. I already took the Panthers plus the 1.5 goals. They're going to shock them, and they're going to win that first game right away. Panthers in 6. Okay? Panthers in 6. We will be on after the Panthers game. Every game, Heat, Panthers, we'll give you a post-game show. Win or lose, does not matter. We'll be there for you. So on Saturday, after the game is done, please come to our platform. But you know what? Hit the notification bell. That way you know when we're on. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Please hit the like button. That's very, very important. And again, if your business wants to become a part of our platform and be a partner, great way to pick up new clients, great way to market your brand. 786-754-4664. Our audience is all throughout South Florida, the United States, and even the world. The audience is all over the place, so we can promote your business at all levels. 786-754-4664. We thank Sean Stanley, as always, mastering the program. We thank Cam Wolf and Manny Navarro. We shall see you on Saturday. Same time, same place, same bat channel.
This is the Big O Show.